What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories.
12 LF. Chapter 191. Whitebeard kills Kazuki Oden, Kaido fights Shimotsuki beef balls. Boom boom boom, boom. The roar exploded, and with this deafening roar, Kazuki Oden faced Newgate's onslaught, and there was a huge pressure. The strength of the two cannot be said to be a huge gap. However, it is definitely not one-level opponents. Bump bump, bump. The battle between the two was very fierce. The strength of Newgate's original book was to suppress Kazuki Oden, and now Newgate's strength has been improved, and it is not a problem to defeat Kazuki Oden. Kongyan cut air shock cut. 35. Oden 2 swords. Samurai great spirit. 35. Boom. The strong air waves roared in an instant, and everything around seemed to be destroyed, and Newgate laughed arrogantly. Is there only such strength? Kazuki Oden, don't let Laozi down. This is but your country, if you don't work hard, will die. Hateful. Kazuki Oden's face is very ugly. Of course, he can feel how powerful Newgate's strength is. As a person who has observation haki who listens to the sound of everything, his ability is very special and also very powerful. Because of this, Kazuki Oden feels that way. The strengths of Newgate and Kaido are both terrifying enough. Although the strength of these two people is terrifying, compared to the man who stood there with his hands in his pockets and lit a cigarette, he was not at the same level. Terrible. Woo. A puff of smoke was exhaled, and Alan said casually, Bagley, Tiger, with the little guys, get rid of all the guys that come, remember. These guys, there is no need for any existence, a person who does not stay. 99. Uncle, don't worry. What? Both Bagley and Tiger both had confident smiles, and they set their sights on the distance with 927. Wow, wow. With the sound of the extremely fast footsteps, I saw one after another silhouettes galloping forward. The red sheath 9 heroes and the others were the leaders, and other than that, the followers were wearing thick samurai armor. The samurai. Master Royal Palace. Kinemon let out a loud roar. Brush. Knives crossed to block Newgate's attack, and Kazuki Oden yelled, Kinemon, be careful. These guys are targeting Wano-kuni, get rid of them all. They want to attack Wano-kuni. Yes. 35. Kinemon immediately understood what he meant. His eyes became sharp in an instant. His eyes were sharp looking at everything in front of him. He even pulled out the samurai sword from his waist, and said sharply, you guys. Take a shot at Wano-kuni. Then, pay for what you do. And this strength is naturally very terrifying, and it can be said without hesitation. Kinemon, Denjiro, Ashura Duji, Izo, Kiku no Chang, Kanjuro, Raizo. The strength of the 7 of them is really not weak, even to say. It is very strong, and Kinemon is a man who has been changed by Kurozumi Orochi, in fact. Kinemon looks like a pervert, but in essence Kinemon wasn't really a samurai, he was a general. What Kinemon is best at is not just fighting, on the contrary. Kinemon is good at commanding battles. Kill, roar. Under the command of Kinemon, and under the leadership of Bagley, the war started immediately, without any hesitation, it was a real war. Whitebeard Pirates versus the Samurai of Wano-kuni Kuri. Without any hesitation. No mercy whatsoever. Both sides are very clear, today's result is life and death, and they will not have any mercy, even to say. According to the characters of these guys, next. There will definitely be no mercy. Boom, boom. The war broke out immediately, and Alan looked at the battlefield in front of him, but it was really very calm. Woo. With a puff of smoke, Alan said casually, if there is no accident in the Battle of Julie, it should not be able to spread to other people's positions. Every area of Wano-kuni is like this, it is really boring. 99. Wano-kuni. Each area is almost independent, even if it is not for the existence of the Kazuki family, it will almost split into a country, so. Wano-kuni's situation is special, and now the situation in Julie cannot be spread. This is naturally a good thing for other people, but for Alan, this is a very boring thing. The reason, naturally, it is very simple. Such an opponent is too weak, and he has no idea of making a shot. No. Therefore, if the number of opponents is large enough, maybe I will still be more interested, but unfortunately, obviously. The number of opponents is not too many, because of this, it is quite boring. Ah, lazy side. Alan waved his hand casually and said, little brats. Be serious to Laozi. This is a weapon related to your future. As long as you occupy Wano-kuni, your weapon will become the strongest in the world in the future. Yes. Oh who, uncle. 35. We got it. 5. Ha ha ha. What responded to Alan were roars and roars. Looking at a group of serious little devils, Alan's smile became more and more intense, and he said softly, little brats. You are the foundation of the Whitebeard Pirates, Laozi. I will take you to the top of this world. Ha ha ha. Alan is also accompanied by heroic laughter, laughing excitedly, looking at everything in front of him with interest. His smile is getting richer, and as time goes by, the battle situation has begun to change gradually. Or, The entire war situation has begun to deviate and shift completely, and the overall situation has become completely different. And such a result, what is the next thing? In fact, it is self-evident. Snapped, snapped. As the war is still going on, under the leadership of Bagley and Tiger, these 7 people have been completely suppressed and beaten, after all. The war has reached this stage, in fact. The result is beyond doubt, after all. With the passage of time, the two sides are no longer the same level of results, do we need to say more? Boom, boom. Hearing the roaring sound in his ears, Kazuki Oden stared at the battlefield in front of him, his eyes widened in disbelief. Azang had already fallen to the ground, under Tiger's iron fist, he was directly killed without any mercy. A punch shattered his chest. Yizang. 35. Kazuki Oden let out a deafening roar, but it was a pity. At this moment, Newgate caught him. Kong Yunchi air shock cut. 99. Newgate has no hesitation, this is not a duel, nor is it a duel of heroes. It is a real war. On such a battlefield, you dare to lose your mind. Then you are joking for your own life. In this way, Newgate will not have any mercy. Brush. Wow. A mouthful of blood was spat out, and a terrifying knife mark had appeared on Kazuki Oden's chest. The horror brought by this knife mark was beyond doubt. Humph. His face became abnormally pale, and Kazuki Oden gushed out a mouthful of blood, but he propped himself up and said sharply, "You bastards. I will never forgive you, you come to pay the price of life." 39. Goo la la la. Newgate laughed proudly. Don't talk nonsense so much. This is war. Since we have launched a war, we are ready, even if we fail, it doesn't matter. And you? Do you? It's ready. Brush. Holding Kong Yunchi, Newgate's murderous aura was full of endless arrogance, with a terrifying gesture in his eyes, joking. This is war. Since the 3 of my brothers have come here, they have already made all preparations, including the preparation for death, in that case. Then there will be no mercy, but absolutely no mercy. Killing all the enemies in front of you is the most important thing. Euro. Blood dripped, and Jinamon's eyes widened as he murmured, Lord Royal Palace. I'm sorry, this is the end of the story. Wow. A mouthful of blood spurted out, Kinemon had fallen, and with the fall of Kinemon, not only Kinemon, but also Denjiro, Ashura Duji, Kikunochung, Raizo and others had all fallen. Not the opponent of the Whitebeard Pirates at all. It is undeniable to say. Their qualifications are very penultimate, many of them have the qualifications that surpass Marine Vice Admiral, and can be comparable to the 3 major Kanban boards in the future. Unfortunately, they need time to grow, and this time is the most important, they have not experienced it now so many, and this. It's a pointless thing. After all, the enemy does not wait for you to grow up, and that is how they are defeated. Kill. Bagley is like a black tiger, his entire body is rapidly expanding at a speed visible to the naked eye. In a short period of time, it has expanded to an extremely terrifying level, making a terrifying roar. The whole person went straight to the opponent in front of him like an afterimage. Search. Search. Bagley's speed is extremely fast, and the followers of Bagley are everyone from the Whitebeard Pirates, including all the little devils, who joined the battle. Alan allowed this time, and it was almost the same. They although the age is small, but there is no problem with watching it by yourself. Because of this, the little guys joined the battlefield one by one. The entire battle situation has fallen into a one-sided slaughter, because this is not a one-level battle at all. Continue. Attack. Kill. Roar. 35. The roar resounded. The war is still not over, or rather. So far, this is just a beginning. It is so easy there. Tick-tock. Tick-tock. With the blood dripping, the entire battlefield seems to have become completely different, and the battle situation at this moment has completely changed, and such a battlefield is already like this, next. No more consideration is needed, these guys. But there is no intention of showing mercy. And that's the only result. On the other side. Earthquake. Newgate punched the opponent directly on the head, and under this blow, Kazuki Oden instantly paled, as if he had reached a limit. Wow. Another mouthful of blood spit out, and Kazuki Oden murmured, "You will never succeed, damn it." Goo la la la. Newgate laughed arrogantly and said, "You guy, it's not up to you to decide whether we will succeed or not, but it's up to us. Your result ends here." Kong Cloud cut. Air shock cut. Under the result of this last knife, everything came to an end like this. In this way, Kazuki Oden was also beheaded by Newgate, and with the death of Kazuki Oden, everyone seemed to have lost their own. Like belief, they instantly became confused. Actually, it's no surprise, even to say. Kazuki Oden is what they believe in, and for them, such a result is absolutely unquestionable. The Kazuki family in Wano-kuni is the pillar of faith for everyone. Just like the resistance in the original book, with the appearance of Momosuke, they have the heart of resistance again, if there is no Momosuke. Then everything is already became meaningless. Woo. Newgate let out a deep breath, his expression was very calm, and the battlefield at this moment had truly turned into a one-sided sweep, not a one-level battle at all. Tick-tock. Tick-tock. Drops of blood were dripping, and Alan didn't need these people to surrender. For him, it didn't matter if he killed the samurai, even if they died. With the delay of time, the entire battlefield has become completely different, as if it has reached its limit, and because of this, the war at this moment is also over. Next step. Walk. Alan gave an order, and everyone followed Alan's pace and went into the distance. 9 miles. This is just the beginning. This is just the beginning, and what I need is not a Wano-kuni who is completely surrendered, but it is enough to have the entire Wano-kuni under control, there is absolutely no doubt about it. Snapped. Snapped. With the departure of Alan and others, Kurozumi Higurashi and Kurozumi Semimaru appeared as followers of Kurozumi Orochi. As for Kanjuro, he didn't die. It could be that Alan deliberately left him alive. Master Orochi, what do you think? 5.9 inches, what a terrible power. Kurozumi said fiercely, and such a person, is he going to rule Wano-kuni? 5. Do not. Kurozumi Higurashi shook his head and said, Lord Orochi, we can take our revenge and let the whole Wano-kuni be reduced to ruins. All they need is all the mischief that follows. Let's ravage the whole Wano-kuni into ruins. 5. It is good. Good. 35. Kurozumi Orochi is laughing wildly, he has no idea of domination at all, he has no such ability, and what he wants to do is revenge. Revenge. Destroy everything in front of him, this is all the idea of Kurozumi Orochi. With the departure of one by one. Next, the war in Wano-kuni continued, and the entire Wano-kuni, from Julie onwards, had been completely swept away. With Julie as the core, Alan went to the rabbit bowl, Newgate led the attack on Exame, and as for Bai Wu and Ling Hu. Kaido is in charge here, and Kaido's first goal is to go after the bell. Because there is a man called the first patron saint of Wano-kuni, the descendant of Shimotsuki Ryoma, the first swordsman of Wano-kuni in this era, Shimotsuki Beef Maru. He is the strongest of Wano-kuni, and is this man really the strongest? This is the most interesting thing. Therefore, Kaido went straight to the back of the bell, and the target was this Shimotsuki Ushimaru. I wanted to see his strength. With the Whitebeard Pirates entering Wano-kuni, the terrifying war in Wano-kuni has completely broken out. Time. The war that broke out seemed to devour everything, and this terrifying battlefield had completely devoured everything. P.S. 5,000 word chapter. Daily 6 updates. 5th update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect. Chapter 192. Capture Wano-kuni in 3 days. Become the master of Wano-kuni. Breathe. Facing the heat that fell from the sky, this man who looked very similar to Zoro rose up into the sky, holding a jet black samurai sword. In an instant, a sharp cold light flashed across, and everything seemed to fall. Like a curtain. The flames are unfolded. Kendo. Divided into 3 levels, from the initial cut iron, cut fire, not cut. This, as the 3 very important levels of Kendo, it can be said. These 3 levels are extremely important for the division of Kendo, cutting iron, as the name suggests. It can cut off any iron weapon, and cutting fire represents simpler, that is, all natural elements can be cut open. As for the final non-cutting, this is easier to understand. If you don't want to cut, then even a piece of paper cannot be cut, and this is the most fundamental core, the 3 realms of Kendo. And, obviously, Shimotsuki beef balls have at least reached the 2nd level. Brush. Flicking the black sword Chushui in his hand, Shimotsuki Ushimaru's eyes were sharp and he said solemnly, you are very strong. As an outsider, your strength is really very strong. It seems that if you want to defeat you, there is only one choice. To kill you. Right now, Shimotsuki beef balls actually have an excited look, which is absolutely undeniable. Once, Shimotsuki Ryoma was called Zonlong Ryoma, why is it called this title? In fact, it's very simple, fish fruit, phantom beast species, green dragon type, the former ability person died in the hands of Ryoma, after that, he was called the Dragon Slayer Warrior, this is the origin of the title of Ryoma, today, if I can succeed, then I can be compared with my ancestors. Who slightly spit out a mouthful of turbid air, and Shimotsuki Ushimaru's eyes were unusually sharp. He stared at Kaido in front of him, and the killing intent burst out in an instant. The terrifying fighting intent seemed to be like an evil spirit, completely bursting out. Worororo. Want to kill Laozi. Kaido, on the other hand, turned into a human beast form with a mace, his eyes filled with endless fighting intent, and said tyrannically, how can it be so easy? If it is so simple and you succeed, then but non 06 is a very shameful thing. Thunder 8 trigrams. A terrifying light erupted from Kaido's eyes, and Armament Haki and Conqueror's Haki were entangled at the same time, followed closely behind. A streamer went straight to Shimotsuki Niamaru. Shimotsuki Ryu Katakana middle dot Ryu Shadow Wolf. In the face of Kaido's blow, Shimotsuki Ushimaru's expression was calm, and the black sword Chushui returned to the sheath in a fighting posture with the attitude of I. The next moment. Suddenly shot, an amazing knife slashed. Boom. The ground in all directions exploded in an instant, and blocks of stones exploded in an instant because of the collision between the two, and all this happened in this instant, it was too fast, like an afterimage. Followed by crackling. Kaido and Shimotsuki Ushimaru turned around, and their offensive was extremely fast, as if they were half a pound. To be precise, the strength of the two was really half a pound, and the winner of this battle had actually been proven. Now, what is the result of Wano-kuni? Kaido wins, then Wano-kuni is just such a downfall. Shimotsuki Ushimaru wins, then Wano-kuni still has a shred of hope, although it is only a shred of hope, but this is already in the endless despair, the only hope Wano-kuni can find. This is the most frustrating thing ever. Short time. Boom, boom. The entire battlefield is churning, but not only the battlefield at the back of the bell, but the entire Wano-kuni battlefield is churning. The entire battlefield is full of crazy tears, as if to tear the opponent apart completely. Tick-tock, tick-tock, humph. With a muffled sound, the big name of the rabbit bowl, Yu Tempura, was kneeling on the ground with a pale face at this moment. His face was extremely ugly, he looked very weak, and even said, "Look." Snapped. Huh. Lighting a cigarette at will, Alan puffed up the clouds with an indifferent look, and said casually, "Uyuki Tempura. The strength is quite good, but unfortunately, I don't put you in my eyes. That's it. Stop here, you should die too." Cough cough cough. Coughing weakly, Yu Tempura murmured, "It doesn't matter if I die. But I want to know, why? Why are you attacking Wano-kuni? This is the most incomprehensible thing for Uzumaki Tempura. Why are these outsiders attacking Wano-kuni? Is it because of the rumors of gold? If so, these people can come and ask for it. You said this. I am more interested in your Wano-kuni craftsmen, and also in your Wano-kuni's famous swords, the same. I am also very interested in your Wano-kuni's weapons transformed from sea stone. After all, I also want to make money. It's also good to sell weapons. As for you guys, that's how to be a slave. Impossible. Yu Tempura said without hesitation. This is absolutely impossible, we will never. In Yu Tempura's view, even if all the subjects were killed in battle, they would never surrender to outsiders. What? Alan said casually. You're right, so we are working with the Kurozumi clan, who will give the entire Wano-kuni endless domination and chaos. 35. The Kurozumi clan. 99. Yuzuki Tempura's eyes widened in disbelief. Is there anyone in the Kurozumi clan still alive? And they have contacted such a terrifying monster. This moment, Uzumaki Tempura really felt what despair was. He knew that there was the Kurozumi clan, and everything was meaningless. Next, the result of the war was already doomed. All of these. That's how it should end. Search. A shock wave directly penetrated Yu Tempura, burning his body to the ground in an instant. Alan waved his hands casually and said, "Little brats, give the whole rabbit bowl to Laozi, and then it's Bai Wu's turn. Now." Yes. 35. Uncle. Following Alan's orders, these little guys started to get busy one by one. The area of the rabbit bowl has gradually begun to be disposed of. And as the rabbit bowl is disposed of, the next thing is white dance, and the entire battlefield will undoubtedly begin. Boom. Boom. The roar exploded, and the entire Exame area seemed to be caught in the bombardment of such a violent storm. Humph. 35. Newgate said proudly. Is there only such strength? It's better for you guys to surrender honestly. In this case, at least you won't die. Cough cough cough. Fengyu Yuji coughed weakly, his face was very pale, and his strength was not strong. Among all the daimyo in Wano-kuni, only Kazuki Oden and Shimotsuki Ushimaru were strong enough. The others have only 5,000 samurai troops, and the two of them have a total of 100,000 people. From this, it can be seen that the two sides it's not a level at all. Naturally, in the face of Newgate's offensive, Fengyu Yukie was not an opponent at all, it was a complete sweep. Just like what Alan said, conspiracy. What conspiracy is needed? Facing such an opponent, facing such a country, and wanting to deal with it, then it is really too simple to deal with, and it is easy to deal with it. It's just rubbish worth noting at all. It's time for you to end here. Newgate looked at Fengyu Yukie with indifference, saying that it is undeniable. Newgate went out to sea with his elder brother because his homeland was destroyed, as a pirate. What he did and what he experienced in the past, everything that has happened is nothing but nothing. Only, Newgate, however, very much agrees with what the eldest brother said, we are pirates. Since we have chosen to be pirates, do we have to stand up again? Stop making trouble, that is just like nonsense. Things, since Laozi is already a pirate. Then don't hesitate so much, let alone think so much, that's enough. Therefore, Newgate never hesitated to dispose of Fengyu Yukie, but Newgate turned around and shouted, little cubs, how are you all dealing with it? 35. Dad. Bagley walked over step by step, and said sharply, everything has been dealt with, and the people here are simply not worth mentioning. Goo. Very good. Newgate's eyes were filled with endless killing intent and fighting intent, and he said tyrannically, I'm ready for Laozi. Next, our goal is to deal with the Bell Queen. Then Wano-kuni belongs to ours. Yes, Dad. Turning around, Newgate waved his hand. The attack has begun. Under the leadership of Newgate, Exame has been controlled, and everyone went straight to the back of the bell. As for these areas that were attacked, it's actually very simple, or rather, for the Kurozumi family, although they not many people, but there are still people. It is really too easy to control this, and all of this is filled with endless indifference. Battlefield. It is still continuing, and at this moment in the white dance. Cough cough cough. Shimotsuki Yasui coughed weakly, He is a civil servant, and he is not good at fighting at all, and at this moment he said strangely, I don't understand, since you want to do what you do in Wano Kuni, why do you want to be with Wano Kuni? Working together with the Kurozumi clan, we. What? Alan said casually. The reason is very simple, because in our eyes, you are not human at all, so it is pointless to cooperate with you, the Kurozumi family is more suitable, after all. Their idea is just as to destroy the entire Wano Kuni. 99. Cough cough cough. You. Boom. The two shock waves in his eyes pierced through everything in an instant, directly killing Shimotsuki Yasui. Alan shook his head casually and said, it's really boring. It's just garbage. 35. Cut. Alan really thinks it's very boring. Wano Kuni's strength is too weak. It seems to have a good strength. In fact. Hehe. It's not worth mentioning at all. With such strength, if you need to look at it, it would be too boring. The three Edward brothers simply swept across such a battlefield. All areas in Julie, Baiwu, Exame, and Rabbit Bowl are masters, and now the only one left is the Bell Queen. And, after the bell at this moment. Roar. 55. Thunder 8 trigrams. Dragon's Breath. Death to Lao Su. 35. Kaido waved the mace in his hand with the explosive force that directly destroyed the mace in his hand, and under such a terrifying blow, Shimotsuki Ushimaru's head was like a watermelon in an instant. Smashed. And with the appearance of this last scene, the result of all this seems to be beyond doubt. Wano Kuni's battle situation has completely come to an end. Snapped. Snapped. Alan and Newgate walked step by step. Looking at Kaido, Alan jokingly said, Third, be serious. There will still be a lot of garbage like this in the future, but you have to work harder. Quote. Worororo. 99. Kaido laughed and said, Brother. I really feel it. The strength of the opponent is very strong, and this kind of strength will bring a huge sense of oppression. It's really great. I will take it step by step. I will become stronger and stronger step by step. Snapped. Clenching his fist with one hand, Kaido's eyes were filled with endless determination. 927 seemed to be ready for everything, and looking at Kaido, Alan showed a smile. Indeed it is. That's the funniest thing, isn't it? Hehe. This is the most interesting thing. Ah. 35. Kaido's eyes were sharp, and the three of them looked at each other and laughed. Wano Kuni was completely mastered, and the Kurozumi family took care of the rest. Can't handle it. That so-called ally, then it is meaningless, even to say. That is too boring. The three Edward brothers do not recommend replacing a suitable candidate, after all. As Wano Kuni's general, this position, there must be a lot of people who would like to sit here. This is absolutely beyond doubt. 99. A smile emerged, and Alan looked into the distance amusingly. Wano Kuni. In this way, the curtain came to an end. Kurozumi Higurashi took control of Kazuki Sukiyaki, and passed the position of General Wano Kuni to Kurozumi Orochi by transforming into Kazuki Sukiyaki, and from then on, the weapons factory was lively and lively. Started. It can be said unceremoniously that at this moment the entire Wano Kuni has begun to fall into complete control, there is no doubt about it. The entire Wano Kuni has been included in the master and control of the Whitebeard Pirates. And, this kind of record is also the most terrifying, from start to finish. The entire Wano Kuni battle only lasted for 3 days, so to speak. From the outbreak of the war to the end. Not a one-level fight. Operator. With a weird smile, Kurozumi Higurashi looked down at Wano Kuni below in the general's mansion, and said grimly, Wano Kuni. Next, it is the pain of the whole country. Get ready, everything. Now, it's time for the whole Wano Kuni to feel the absolute pain. Ha ha ha. With Kurozumi Higurashi this crazy big laugh. Boom. The terrifying storm resounded wildly, in an instant. The whole sea seemed to be different, at this moment. Everything changed, it became completely different, everything in Wano Kuni was completely different, is a complete change. Next, you can feel it well, how terrible is that terrifying power? And what will happen next to Wano Kuni? This is the most terrifying. It is also the most terrifying. Feeling crazy things. Wano Kuni. Everything is just the beginning. P.S. 5,000-word chapter. Daily 6 updates. 6th update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect. Chapter 193. See Circle Calendar 1495, 10 years. See Circle Calendar 1495. Time. Before you know it, 10 years have passed. Plus BU. The Whitebeard Pirates swept the entire Wano Kuni in 3 days. After that, they established a weapons factory in Wano Kuni and completely transformed the entire Wano Kuni into a weapons factory, which was ruled by the Kurozumi Orochi. To this day, it is no exaggeration that Wano Kuni has been completely reduced to purgatory on Earth, but no matter what, this is the essence of this sea, and the strong food is the essence of this sea. There is absolutely no doubt about it. Snapped. Snapped. With the sound of footsteps, in the flower capital, Gion was wearing a kimono, looking around at everything with a smile, and said, Widub, are you going to try it too? Yes. Standing beside Gion, Whiteby was also smiling. 10 years have passed. In the past 10 years, Gion and Ydib are more beautiful, can be said to be generous, and For so many years, Whitebeard has always wanted to establish his own pirate group, but she didn't try it easily, because Whitebeard knew that with her current strength, the possibility of success was not high. Because of this, Whitebeard chose to continue to accumulate his own strength, and now, it has been 10 years, Whitebeard feels that his strength is almost the same, and it is time to start trying. He. Guillaume smiled and said. Then, Whitebeard, the next step is to congratulate you, according to your strength, success is beyond doubt. But don't say that, it's not that easy. Whitebeard shook his head and said. In the past 10 years, except for Big Brother Bagley and Big Brother Tiger, everyone has failed again and again, and there is no way to succeed. If the test set by the uncle is that easy, it will be easy. If it is successful, it is not a good thing for us. Indeed. Guillaume also nodded in agreement and said, although the test set by father is extremely difficult, it is also a life-saving charm for everyone. After all, if you can pass the test, there will be almost no problems on this sea, and even more able to make a name for himself on this sea. Yes. Whitebeard also nodded in agreement, she said very seriously. After 10 days, I also plan to continue to participate in the test, but there are 5 days left for the uncle's birthday, and the gifts should be prepared quickly. 99. Yes. Mentioning this matter, Guillaume also nodded seriously and said, that's true, the voice of my father will be heard soon. In these 5 days, I still have to prepare the gifts as soon as possible, this time. But everyone is the most serious. There must be no problems with the prepared gifts. Yes. The two women looked at each other with a smile, in fact. For them, or for each child, they prepared a very serious gift. For so many years, Alan's status is really very high, and the most important thing is that he is respected by every child. Whether it is Newgate's adopted son or daughter. Whether it is Kaido's adopted son or adopted daughter. Almost everyone, they respect their uncles very much, and each of their children is like this, firming up their beliefs. Today, they want to take advantage of the upcoming birthday of the uncle to prepare a copy for the uncle. They are very serious, a gift that has been in the making for a long time. Maybe it's not particularly precious, but it's the most important gift they can think of that the uncle lacks. Let's go. It is good. Both women left in the capital of flowers, although it is said. The Whitebeard Pirates are rarely stationed in Wano-kuni, but anyway, Wano-kuni is also the site of the Whitebeard Pirates, if that's the case. Come back and enjoy, that's fine too. On the other side, search. Boom. The azure blue flame is blooming, and the scorching magma is also churning. Boom. Boom. In the Exame area, 2 figures are intertwining rapidly, and these 2 figures are Marco and Abel, who have grown up again after 10 years. Unlike in the past, they were all children, but now, the strength and all aspects of these 2 little devils are extremely strong. Under this amazing strength, the fighting power that erupts is extremely strong. Phoenix Seal. Marco soared into the sky, his feet turned into phoenix feet, and at the same time, the terrifying impact smashed down directly. Fire Dragon Magma. Abel was not afraid at all, clenched his fist with one hand, and the flame behind him was wrapped around the magma. The next moment, the huge magma wrapped around the flame has been smashed down in an instant, this moment. The terrifying power seems to be swallowed up, everything is normal. Boom. The impact and roar of the 2 completely covered the surrounding area. In a short period of time, the surrounding area seemed to be in ruins. Both of them quickly retreated. Ha ha ha. He. Marco and Abel were both laughing, and then stopped fighting in unison. Abel shook his head and said, Marco, your development of the phoenix fruit is really amazing. This is not what Abel is advocating, but Marco's power in the development of the phoenix fruit is really amazing. Although he is only in his teens, Marco's development of the phoenix fruit is a different person. I have to admit, it's really great. This is an undeniable thing. Not only the resilience of the phoenix fruit, but the most important thing. Marco gradually developed the phoenix fruit to a very wonderful level. What does this level represent? Actually, there is no doubt about it, this level is the level of awakening, just. Although it is said that Marco has not stepped into this level, but Marco is gradually realizing how to achieve awakening, although that said, this is just the beginning, but that's enough. Ha ha ha. Marco scratched his head embarrassedly and said, seriously. Although I said so, but what is going on, I myself don't know very well. Well, listening to Marco's words, Abel also shrugged and said, indeed. Uncle has said that the awakening of devil fruit is more about the awakening of a special power, rather than saying that it can be achieved with the improvement of strength. But the development of devil fruit has reached a certain level, or a feeling. Indeed, this is the essence of devil fruit's awakening, it's really very special, really not everyone can reach the level of devil fruit's awakening. Correct, Abel, your lava fruit is gradually awakening from research, right? Listening to Marco's question, Abel shook his head and said, it's hard to say. I'm trying gradually, but when it will be successful, there's no way to predict it, that's what I said. The awakening of devil fruit. It is really impossible to determine. 35. Indeed, this thing is really no joke, the development of devil fruit is a very mysterious thing from beginning to end. Maybe it is very easy to develop to the level of awakening, maybe. After you develop for a lifetime, your strength has become invincible, and you can't develop it. Devil Fruit awakens. This is what it is. This is the most confusing thing about Devil Fruit. Correct. How is the gift for Uncle? It's almost there. Let's go. 35. It is good. Both of them left. Guri area. Compared with other areas, Julie is filled with more weapons factories, and it is also the most terrifying area that has been transformed. Seriously. Whether it is Julie, Exame, Baiwu, Lingo, Rabbit Bowl. These 5 areas, no matter where they are actually the same. They have undergone a lot of transformation. There are countless weapons factories, whether it is polluting the environment or how many Wanokuni people died here. Feel sorry. No one cares at all, neither the 3 Edward brothers nor Kurozumi Orochi don't care about it at all. Just don't take it all seriously, because it's something that doesn't make any sense at all. Does it matter? Do not. It doesn't matter at all, no one cares about it, it's just meaningless. Just like this moment. Earthquake. The strongest fist. The 2 figures collided quickly, and the terrifying force instantly shattered the surrounding earth. Not only that, but under the strong impact, the surrounding area exploded in an instant. Quote. 35. Both Bullet and Carmenio have grown for so many years, 10 years. The strength of both of them has been greatly improved. Looking at the power developed by Carmenio with Shock Fruit, and the power of Bullet under that terrifying power, one can see how amazing the power is. Boom. Boom. The 2 really collided with fists and fists, under the terrifying impact, as if they were about to be directly torn apart. It's really scary. 35. Yes. Watching the collision between the 2, and the people watching the battle couldn't help but stunned. Both Beasta and Doma were watching the battlefield quietly. Right now, the 2 famous swords on Beasta's waist are Yanmo and Tianyu Yujin, one of the 2 famous swords of the 21 big sharp swords. It used to belong to Kazuki Oden's saber, and now it has become Beasta's famous sword. And Beasta also cherishes these 2 famous knives very much. It can be said that the power of these 2 famous knives is perfectly exerted. After so many years of growth, Beasta's kendo is also very amazing. And Doma is standing beside Beasta, although it is a little weaker in terms of strength, but the 2 famous swords on Doma's waist are the 3rd generation Ghost and the 2nd generation Ghost. That's right. Doma is also a dual swordsman, and the 2 famous swords he holds are the 3rd generation Guido, one of the 50 good and quick swords, and the 2nd generation Guido, one of the 21 big quick swords. The 2 demon swords are in Doma. His hands were all tamed, and they exerted astonishing power. Beasta said interestingly. However, Gamenio's development of Daddy's Shock Fruit is also very good. Moreover, because Gamenio also has 2 other devil fruits, combined, they even play a role. Out of such outstanding strength. Good! Exclamation mark. Good. Doma agrees very much, this is really no joke. In the past 10 years, Carmenio also copied other devil fruits, and it's all development, on the contrary. Instead, Carmenio takes its own shock fruit as the core and assists the other 2 devil fruits to carry out such development. This is very admirable, too. It also proves that Carmenio's heart is very firm, you have to admit it. Although, many times, doing this sounds very simple, but that's not the case at all. Such a thing is happening right in front of you. But, what you have to admit is that when you have 3 devil fruits, and they are all 3 powerful devil fruits, what choice will you make? Actually, and the metaphor. Presumably, many people will develop 3 devil fruits at the same time, which is almost everyone's idea, and because of this. This is extremely prone to problems. Because, you must be clear that when developing 3 devil fruits at the same time, your energy is limited, but can you really succeed? Without a doubt, this thing is important, correct? Beasta seemed to have thought of something, and asked, Doma, are you also planning to continue to challenge the test? If you do the math, according to your strength, passing the test should not be a problem. 95. It's so easy there. Doma shook his head and said, in the past 10 years, I have challenged 6 times, but every time I failed. But this is also what should be done. If it is so easy to succeed, for us, instead it's not a good thing, only in this way, hone your strength more seriously, this is the most important. Indeed it is. Beasta nodded in agreement. Compared to the others, Beasta is the headquarter of the Whitebeard Pirates and the captain of the 18th Division. The Whitebeard Pirates have a total of 24 divisions, of course. Divisions. The rankings are not ranked because of their strength, what is the reason? Promised good. It's purely because of Alan's interest, no one knows what his uncle thinks, anyway, it's where he thinks, and except for Whitebeard, Doma Atmos, Fosa, SCU Yard, Makugai. These little guys all plan to complete the challenge within these 5 days. They all want to build their own pirate group in these 5 days, because 5 days later, it will be Uncle's birthday. If they can't make it before the Uncle's birthday, they are very embarrassing. Calculate the time, it's Uncle's birthday in 5 days, how are you preparing for that part of the gift? 39. Doma made an okay gesture and said confidently, isn't this a matter of course? You are already prepared. By the way, what about your part of Bista? Bista also nodded and said, of course it is ready, this is absolutely no problem. That's good. Doma and Bista, no. Not just the two, everyone in the Whitebeard Pirates, no matter who they are, everyone is very serious, everyone is so. A gift, this gift is the most precious gift they have prepared, it does not mean how much it is worth, but it really represents their heart. It can be said, over the years, these children have become more and more respectful to Alan. And because of this, they really tried their best to prepare for it all. It may not be precious to prepare this share, but it's a really big gift in terms of meaning. Bista looked into the distance and thought, but 10 years have passed, and this sea is getting more and more chaotic. It's getting more and more terrifying. Yeah, 9. Doma nodded in agreement. P.S. 5,000 word chapter. Daily 6 updates. First update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect. Chapter 194. Enel, Sachi, Anuarashi, Cat Viper, River Song, 18 imps. 10 years. Many people think that it has been 11 years since the collapse of Rock's Pirate, and the sea should be calm again, but unfortunately. The fact is precisely the idea, or even that the sea has become more chaotic, it also became more terrifying. Countless newcomers, countless monsters, countless heroes, and major forces all went out to sea in the name of pirates, trying to get a piece of the pie in this sea, and that's why. This sea has simply become abnormal fear. It can be said, even when the Rock's Pirate existed, it was never so terrifying, because there were rules back then, but now. Rules. It has long since ceased to exist, or even at all. Therefore, this is the most terrifying thing. All this is in front of us, and when such a situation is in front of us, no one can be alone, and all they feel is endless terror and terror. Let's go. 35. Bista and Doma left, and the fight between Carmenio and Bullet was over, and the two also left. Although they will return to Wano Kuni every 3 or 5 years, they still live on the Moby Dick more often. No, just returned to the Moby Dick and saw two people who were arguing. Damn, are you going to fight? Wong, come on, who's afraid of whom? Meow. This is similar to the sound of a cat and a dog, and these two people are Anuarashi and Cat Viper. After so many years, Anuarashi and Cat Viper have indeed come to Wano Kuni again, and now Wano Kuni is no longer there. The former Wano Kuni. Of course, the two of them joined the Whitebeard Pirates and became a member of the Whitebeard Pirates, and although they are only 11 or 12 years old, the talents of Anuarashi and Cat Viper are extremely terrifying. The Fur Tribe, while being a fur tribe, has amazing potential. This potential is fully demonstrated under Alan's guidance. Inu Arashi, Cat Viper. Gion looked at the two who were arguing and couldn't help but said, what's wrong with you two? What, Sister Gion? Inu Lan and Cat Viper turned their heads, and Inu Lan said unhappily, this fellow Cat Viper actually said that fish is delicious, he is simply an idiot, woof. Cat Viper was even more upset, this idiot actually said that meat is delicious. Isn't this an idiot? Meow. The two of them were arguing with each other, and hearing the reasons for the quarrel between the two little guys, Gion and Wadebe couldn't help but smiled and shook their heads, really. These two little guys, always arguing over something as simple as 930. But, the relationship between the two is actually very good. The relationship between Anuarashi and Cat Viper is really very good. This is not a joke, but it is really very good. They are real brothers. Alright, okay. 35. As a peacemaker, Gion did not deal with this kind of thing once or twice, so he smiled and said, it's not a big deal, just let Sachi prepare what you like to eat, don't quarrel so much. The two nodded when they heard Gion's words. But, the two little guys both put their arms around their chests, and Inu Lan said arrogantly, this is because of Gion's sister, so I will give you face, Cat Viper. Otherwise, I will blow your cat's head, woof. Meow. Cat Pit Viper just froze, and the whole person roared, just kidding. Anuarashi, today is just to give face to Sister Gion, otherwise. Your dog's head is broken, meow. Humph. The two little guys looked at each other, then turned around and left, and they were very unhappy with each other. He. Whitebeard chuckled and shook his head. These two little guys. It's really a headache, but after thinking about it a little bit, it seems that they are like this all the time. Yes. Gion also smiled and said, it will be fine in a while, these two little guys are like this. 35. The two women continued to walk deeper into the Moby Dick. On the way, they saw Anuarashi and Cat Viper leaning shoulder to shoulder. It looked like we were good friends playing. All I can say is, said the same. The two women couldn't help but shook their heads with a smile, and they continued to go to the depths, this matter. That is, it is almost the same here. Gion, Whitey Bay, you are back. 35. When Bista and Doma saw the two girls, they also greeted with a smile, while Whiteb also said hello, your mission is over too. Bista nodded and said, it's just a bunch of garbage, and you still want to resist. You just don't know what you can do. Such a guy can easily be disposed of. Really? Listening to Bista's words, Wadebe nodded and said, really? The people of the Kazuki family are already dead, but these guys still want to resist and get rid of these guys, otherwise they will always be dead. This is so annoying. Gion also nodded and said, indeed. There is never a shortage of slaves on this sea. As long as you want AGFJ, there are endless slaves in this sea. This sentence is no joke. In other words, there are countless slaves on this sea, and the number is too large. There is no doubt that the number of slaves on this sea is huge. Exactly. On this sea, there are too many people, and the number of human beings who have lost their homes due to various reasons of war is extremely large, and these human beings can at least survive as hard laborers. Otherwise, they don't even have any hope of surviving. Doma asked. Widib, how are you preparing? Whitebeard nodded and said, I have already prepared everything you have prepared, and there are no questions. How are you preparing? Doma also nodded and said, basically it should be no problem. This time it should be successful. 35. The two looked at each other very seriously. For so many years, they have always wanted to succeed, and there are still 5 days before the uncle's birthday. During these 5 days, they must success, there is no doubt about it. Because of this, they are all very serious and serious. They succeeded 5 days ago. This is also an important gift for the uncle. Let the uncle see the growth of these children. This is one of the best gifts. 1. Yo, Gion, Whitebeard, Beasta, Doma, the 4 of you are back. 35. Exactly. Tonight in the food court, I prepared a very good meal. This is a young man wearing a chef's clothes, smiling and walking over. He has an airplane nose. He looks frivolous, but he has a bold smile. Sage, Sachi, 55. Everyone smiled and said hello. Sachi, the captain of the 22nd Division of the Whitebeard Pirates headquarters, the captain of the chef division, although it is said. Sachi joined the Whitebeard Pirates for only 9 years, and, in terms of pure strength, Sachi is still slightly weaker some. Of course, it's not that Sachi's aptitude is weak, on the contrary. Sachi's aptitude is not weak, it's just. Sachi likes to study food more, as a chef. He is also the captain of the 23-team chef team, Sachi really a lot of food has been developed. For this, Alan, Newgate, and Kaido feel that it doesn't matter, after all. It's really not a big deal, a small problem. A small problem. Such a thing, if you think about it for a while, it doesn't matter. Therefore, the current situation is such a situation, Sachi greeted everyone with a smile. Sage, Beasta slapped his beard and said jokingly, if you don't work hard. But you will be beaten by the uncle. Your strength is unqualified this time. 66.99. Sachi's original smile disappeared, and he complained, Beasta. Uncle's birthday is 5 days away, can you please stop looking for me before such a day? Really, you really can talk. As a brother, I really thank you. 99. Ha ha ha. Hearing this, everyone couldn't help laughing loudly, shaking their heads one by one, with a very strong smile. Not just Sachi, a Murloc walked over not far away, bowed slightly, and said, sister, brother, you are back. Kawasatsu. That's right. Just like Inuarashi and Cat Viper, Kawamatsu also joined the Whitebeard Pirates, and he was also one of the members who joined the Whitebeard Pirates in the past 10 years. These people, they all got it has been cultivated very seriously, there is no doubt about it. Search. 2 streamers passed by, it was Marco and Abel, and with the return of the two, Caminio and Bullet also returned. Bullet said carelessly, Sachi. Is there anything to eat? I'm starving. Unlike the original, Bullet's crazy character. Now. Bullet, who has never experienced any betrayal in the Whitebeard Pirates, is even more smiling. He doesn't care about all this at all. He is truly his own relatives to everyone. That's why. Bullet has changed compared to the original. And it has become a lot. At least. Now Bullet is either a guy who doesn't care about anything, or a crazy guy at heart. Now Bullet attaches great importance to family love, he pursues family love, and he is watching his own family love step by step, this is the biggest change of Bullet. Ha ha ha. Listening to Bullet's roar, Sachi laughed and said, of course everything is ready, but there are a lot of food in the food court. You can find it yourself. 55. No problem. 35. Bullet left with Carmenio, and Marco yelled, wait for me. I'm really starving. Abel caught Quinn, who was watching the fun, and followed, and they all went to eat. Let's go to dinner too. 9. Everyone nodded and walked towards the food street in the distance. It didn't take long, and soon they came to the food street. Everyone greeted them casually. This time, it happened to be dinner time, and in this during the time, everyone is naturally here. Bagley! Exclamation mark. These two people have already formed their own pirate group, so they are no longer here, and the others are here except for the very few who are training hard. Joes, Jinbei, Little Oz, Bramank, Namur, Aruven, Karma, Tezzolo, Epoida, Andre, Squard, Makuge, Atmos, Fosa. 14 people are here. In addition to these 14 people, in the past 10 years, the Whitebeard Pirates have joined a total of 18 very penultimate people, and the talents of these 18 people are all very good, to put it bluntly. As a cadre. Anuarashi, Cat Viper, Kawamatsu, and Sachi didn't need to say more. Actually, in the original, the squad leader of the Whitebeard Pirates, in addition to Izo who has been killed, Lakyo, Karildo, Blenheim, Jingudo, Harda, Heel, these 6 people have already joined the Whitebeard Pirates. In this way, plus Marco, Jose, Sachi, Bista, Brahmank, Atmos, Namur, Fosa, it can be said. The 16 captains in the original book except Ace, Zhang, such people have already joined the Whitebeard Pirates. And these 6 little ghosts plus the previous 4 little ghosts are already 10 people. And the remaining 7, Ginger, AO, the Decarbon brothers, Langba, Elmi, Delixi, and a total of 7 imps are all the same characters as the captains of the Whitebeard Pirates in the original book, but many of them are in the original was added later, and here. This is the one who has joined the Whitebeard Pirates. It can be said, every kid joined the Whitebeard Pirates, showing their amazing talents and growing rapidly. Like other kiddies, they are all aptitude penultimate growth. Same. They also have their own ambitions and want to build their own pirate group. Correct. Marco raised his head and asked earnestly, are all of you ready to give your uncle's birthday present? Apart from Bagley and Tiger, there is no doubt that Marco is the 3rd adopted son in terms of status. Although he is relatively young, Marco has indeed shown amazing abilities. People are convinced. No problem. Everything is ready. Of course it's ready. Ha ha ha. Everyone is laughing and everything is ready. It's not a problem at all, just kidding. How could they not prepare the uncle's birthday present? This is absolutely impossible. Search. Crackling. And at this moment, accompanied by the thunder light, a kid came back in an instant. This was a kid with a hood and long earlobes. He sat cross-legged on the chair, smiling, full of with a casual look. Enel, 35. You're back. Big brother. I'm back. He, 35. That's right. In the past 10 years, a total of 18 penultimate imps have joined the Whitebeard Pirates, and among these 18 imps, the last one is Enel. It is worth mentioning that Enel is Kaido's adopted son. As for the reason, actually it's very simple. At that time, Kaido came to Sky Island because he was bored and was in Sky Island. Kaido, on the other hand, encountered Enel who was basically starving to death and just ate devil fruit, and brought Enel back in this way. That's why, Abel, Quinn, and Enel are 3 of Kaido's adopted sons, and Enel really showed amazing talent. Under the guidance, Enel is growing at an amazing speed. Short time. Although Enel is only in his teens, he is already very good in terms of strength. From here, we can see how good Enel is, and Enel is not only growing rapidly, but also in strength. All aspects. It can be said, Enel is good enough. Abel asked. Enel, uncle's gift. How are you preparing? He. Enel gave a thumbs up and said with a smile, of course everything is ready. Don't worry, big brother, there is absolutely no problem. P.S. 5,000 word chapter. Daily 6 updates. Second update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect. Chapter 195. Alan's second daughter, Edward Hiwa. Kaido's daughter, Edward Yamato. Goo la la la. Newgate laughed interestingly. You little bastards. What are you all studying? Snapped. Accompanied by the sound of footsteps, Newgate walked step by step. He just walked to the food street and heard the conversation of these little ghosts, which is really interesting. I don't know what these little ghosts are thinking, since about a few months before, it was mysteriously preparing gifts for the eldest brother. Dad, Marco scratched his head and said, we are going to prepare a gift for the uncle, as for what it is, we will not say it for the time being. Goo la la la. Newgate laughed and said, whatever. I'm not curious, you can prepare whatever gifts you like. Newgate is very happy about this, that kind of joy is more happy than the gift he received, others may not know it. However, only Newgate and Kaido know that their eldest brother has really paid a lot for this family, of minus heart blood. It can be said, the whole Whitebeard Pirates put the most effort into not their own captain, the third co-captain, but the eldest brother. The eldest brother put in the most effort, it can be said that he is thinking about everything, and he is thinking about everyone. Because of this, it is certainly a joy to watch these little devils prepare gifts for the eldest brother so seriously. The whole food street can be said to be full of fun, everyone is very happy, everyone is quietly enjoying such a calm and warm joy, it is really very comfortable, and everyone has a smile on the corner of their mouth, enjoy it all. For food, everyone is very serious, no one is in a hurry, when eating, everyone is here, all the family is here, this is the happiest thing. Second uncle, 35. Listening to the voice coming from his ear, Newgate lowered his head and looked at the little girl, who was about 5 or 6 years old, dressed in a gorgeous kimono, with a long emerald head. The hair is really very beautiful, and it is very delicate and lovely. Hiyori, Newgate said carelessly, what's wrong? Second uncle, bowing slightly, Hiyori looked very well behaved. Edward Sunhee, she is Alan's second daughter, of course. It's not the blood of the Kazuki family, but the orphan she met in Wano-kuni 5 years ago. It's a very coincidence that this little girl named Hiwa is really the same as the Kazuki. Hiyori's appearance is too similar. Because of this, Alan adopted Hiyori as his daughter, and also his second daughter. In addition to the eldest daughter Gion, Hiyori is his second daughter. The name is Edward Hiyori. Hiyori grew up under the guidance of Wanokuni from childhood to adulthood. Rehei. Gion hugged Hiyori and said gently, Hiyori, why did you come here? Sister. 33. Hiyori cutely wrapped Gion's neck and said with a smile, my father asked me to bring back some food, and my father seemed to say that his conqueror's hockey is about to reach its peak. Newgate raised his eyebrows and said interestingly, as Big Brother's conqueror's hockey reaching its peak soon. Well, it's not bad, it's very interesting. Newgate didn't expect such a result, seriously. The more you continue to develop, you will find that conqueror's hockey is actually the most difficult thing to develop. Conqueror's hockey is the apex of conqueror's hockey, conqueror's entanglement. It's not. It's Captain Rock's stance like a demon, and that's why. This is the apex of conqueror's hockey. In this case, if you were without enough talent, it is almost impossible to reach this stage. Even Alan, it is extremely difficult to achieve this stage. After so many years, I have gradually begun to explore the possibility, so of course I will not give up. As for the vertex of armament hockey is emission, which is internal destruction, and the higher level is observation hockey. The ability to peep into the future, listen to the voice of all things, and spy on the human heart, these three abilities. Everyone is developing gradually, but unfortunately, there are very few people who can really achieve this level. Want to really achieve this level? It is not an easy thing. Let's go. Riwa. 99. We're back. Gion hugged Hiyori and said, second uncle, let's go back first and bring back some food for father. 35. Newgate said casually, whatever. Anyway, it's not a big deal, it's just a small problem, you all go back. Just right, it's time for me to prepare. Little brats, who wants to pass the test and build your own pirate group, then come and let Lao Su have a look, show your strength and courage, if you can't satisfy Lao Su, you will not succeed. Ooh, standing up, Newgate left with heroic laughter. Only, Newgate also pondered secretly in his heart. Namuel, Aruvan, Karma, Widub, Epoida, Andre, Doma, Squard, Makuge, Admosi, Fosa, these children should be almost the same, almost all of them can reach this stage, as for the others. Maybe they also have this idea, but the strength is still not enough, and they still can't relax their vigilance. 99. Newgate is also a very serious executor of the standards set by his eldest brother. It is very simple. If these people really have an accident like this, it is the most terrible thing. Because of this, Newgate it is very clear that it is better to be more strict and absolutely not to have any problems. This is the most important and absolutely important thing. If these little devils really have an accident one by one, then at that time there is no place to cry, and that is the saddest thing, although it is said. Here, they fail again and again, it's also a good thing for them. Endure repeated failures, thereby improving their strength. At the same time, after the test, it is the most important for them to walk into this sea live better. But, not bad. Newgate also has a very gentle smile, and it is also very good to be able to watch the little guys grow up with his own eyes. Next, he also has to prepare well. Snapped. Pop. Snapped. Following Newgate's departure, Gion also took Hiwa to his father's castle, and asked on the way, Hiwa, did you have lunch today? 5. Rehei shook his head and said, Sister, Rehei hasn't eaten yet, but Rehei is not very hungry. Quote. Gion shook his head and said, you have to eat well. Otherwise, you won't be able to grow your body. $7. 35. Hiyori nodded obediently. Gion can't help but be gentle, her sister is too cute. Gion really didn't expect that Hiyori would be so cute. It's really too cute. Hiyori is like a big doll, and it has always been very cute. This feeling is the most wonderful. Correct, sister. 35. Hiyori suddenly said, today, my sister ran out and sneaked away again. I'm so angry at the third aunt. Quote. When it came to this matter, Gion couldn't help but be stunned. Compared with his own sister, that sister was really not well behaved. Thinking of this, Gion couldn't help shaking his head and said, be good. Hiyori is not allowed to run around. Otherwise, if I can't find you, my father will be very unhappy. It is good, sister, I will not run around. Hiyori nodded obediently, while the food street at this moment. This, that, 95. He tilde operator. A little girl who looks small is eating all kinds of food in the food street. She is like a gluttonous eater, giving people a feeling of gobbling down and eating all kinds of food. Go down. Really comfortable. 35 inches. 35. Looking at this little girl, Enel tilted her head and said, little girl, why did you run out? 33. She was very flustered in an instant, turned her head and looked at everyone's eyes, all of them were looking at herself, turned around and ran away directly, holding the food and running away, running or eating, secretly said, really? Mom and Dad didn't let me run around, saying they were afraid I was in danger. How could I be in danger? F*K. Abel couldn't help but said. Little sister ran out. 39. What? Quinn said in astonishment. Brother, didn't you see it? Abel hurriedly said. The third child, go and get the little sister back. Otherwise, my mother will definitely kill us by then. Understood. Understood. Enel was also silent, and then the whole person immediately turned into a thunder light and went straight into the distance. In fact, the reason why she was not allowed to come out was not because she was in danger, but because she was only 1 year old and was too young to eat at this time. Her food must be cultivated well, not everything can be eaten. As a result, she likes to come to the food street to eat food, but of course she is not allowed. Blue. At this time, the phone worm rang, and after Abel answered the phone worm, he hurriedly said, Mom. I have asked the third child to catch the little girl, don't worry. It can definitely be caught. Hanging up the phone bug, Abel is really very helpless. These 2 brothers and 1 sister in his family are really problem children. Quinn is a person who likes to study some crazy scientific research, and always wants to experiment with himself, and Enel is a megalomaniac lunatic who gets beat up all the time, but it doesn't change. 0. Ask for flowers. As for the last little girl, Yamato. That's careless. The most important thing is that she is not obedient at all. A picture of her father and mother telling her to go east, but she has to go west. This kind of character is really a headache, that's it. Edward Yamato. This child is Kaido's daughter, who is just 2 years old this year and was born last year. 3 years ago, Kaido met a woman by chance, and this woman became Kaido's wife, of course. Of course, all the big people who should come are here. And after that, Yamato was born last year, followed by Yamato as he grew up gradually. He also inherited his father's monster system and grew up step by step. As a result, just like now, really it's very embarrassing. Completely disobedient. Ha ha ha. He. 39. It's so interesting. Everyone else was laughing loudly, while Abel shook his head helplessly. Compared to Hiyori, his sister was really dishonest. There were many times when Abel was very envious. Gion another day and as a younger sister. Only, although it is true, but, if anyone dares to trouble Yamato. Abel, Quinn, Enel, these 3 little devils will really fight with you. Stop making trouble, they won't show mercy, just kidding. You dare to take action on Laozi's sister, believe it or not Laozi will kill you. Point 0. It can be said, in the past 10 years, this is the biggest change, Hiyori. Yamato. The appearance of these 2 little girls also makes everyone's mentality different, mainly. These 2 children are really it's too cute. Seriously, this girl Yamato is really cute. However, according to the third uncle's physical fitness, Yamato should not be able to eat badly, right? Shut up. 99. The third aunt is of course worried about Yamato, after all. Yamato is just 2 years old. Now he just ate something else, this is just a big mouthful of food, so can you not worry about it? Indeed. Everyone nodded in agreement, for this statement. They all agree very much. And the other side. Search. Enel turned into a thunderbolt, and came directly to Yamato's side, but said helplessly, Little sister, you should go back with me. Otherwise, if my mother is angry, we will not have any good fruit to eat. Don't want. Roar. Yamato opened his mouth and spit out a burst of ice, and at this moment, the atmosphere became completely weird. Enel blocked the ice that Yamato spit out, and looked at Yamato fleeing into the distance, but the whole person fell into silence, not knowing what to say. Snapped. At this moment, a footstep sounded. Enel turned his head and looked at this mature and stable daughter. Her name was Miko, which is Kaido's wife. Now she is called Edward Miko. She is not strong, but is a very serious wife. It can be said, Miko is the real butler of the current Whitebeard Pirates. She respects her eldest and second brothers, and even helps her husband to manage the entire Whitebeard Pirates perfectly. Because of this, Miko hopes your child can grow up well. Result. Her own children always do such things, Miko quietly said in this scene. Enel, this ability should be the ability of the dog fruit, the phantom beast, and the true god of Oguchi. Yes, Mom. Enel was shivering with fright. Looking at his mother's terrifying appearance, he stepped back cautiously. He always felt that he was going to be beaten. It was so scary. Mainly, who would have thought of it? My sister suddenly ate a devil fruit, and, although it is said to be a top-class devil fruit of the phantom beast species. But the problem is, eating devil fruit at such a young age will cause an accident. Very good, Yamato. Miko's eyes flickered with terrifying rays of light, like a sharp evil spirit, and said hideously, how dare you do such a thing? It seems that the old lady is too gentle for this child Yamato. Enel, go and find Yamato for my mother. 35. No problem. 99. Enel hurriedly said, Mom, don't be angry, it's alright. It's alright. Little sister is just a child. She is probably. Miko turned her head to look at Enel, and Enel instantly turned into lightning and disappeared. P.S. 5,000 word chapter. Daily 6 updates. Third update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect. Chapter 196. The Moby Dick. Ah. 39. Help. Mom. No. Oops. What? Accompanied by Yamato's shrill screams, everyone who heard it was just sad and shed tears. Everyone silently bypassed this castle belonging to the third uncle. Stay away, stay away. If the third aunt was staring at this time, it would simply die without knowing how to die. Who? Abel, Quinn, and Enel were squatting in the corner to smoke. Quinn felt a little bad and said, Brother, third, do you think we are squatting like this? The little sister won't resent us in the end, right? 35. Enel sighed silently, and then said without hesitation, Little sister, ask yourself for more happiness. Mom is angry, no matter who it is, even Dad has to kneel. A few days ago, I told you that I saw it secretly. My father was caught by my mother because he went out to wave, and finally. 66.99. Abel and Quinn, who were listening to Enel, suddenly stood up, turned around silently and left, a picture of me not hearing anything, not knowing anything. 35. You two guys, really. Listen to things, but you don't even finish. Enel. 99. Enel couldn't help shaking his head when he saw the old Yamato and second child who left, and at this moment, an indifferent voice suddenly came from behind him, and at this moment, Enel's face changed. He turned his head stiffly, and looked at the corners of his father's mouth with a grin. His face changed instantly. Hee. Enel scratched his head and said, That's what. Dad, I'm just joking. You know it too, I like running trains with my mouth full, and you know that too. Ha ha ha. Thunder 8 trigrams. The corner of Kaido's, Ju-san Zero, who was carrying a mace, grinned, and the next moment. What erupted was a terrifying air wave, and the shocking shock wave fell instantly, and in this instant, the entire sea seemed to be filled with air. Twisted like. Humph. Enel passed out immediately, and his last thought was that he would never owe his words in the future. Otherwise, Dad's beatings this time are really unbearable. Stinky bastard. Kaido is really angry and his teeth are itchy. As a person who loves his daughter-in-law, Kaido really loves his daughter-in-law very much, otherwise. According to Kaido's strength, it is impossible to find a beauty who is not good-looking. Only, the last time Kaido was reprimanded by his own wife, he was suddenly seen by the stinky boy Enel. He originally said it, but he didn't know anything, but the result. This stinky boy actually said it out loud. Humph. Abel. Quinn. Kaido turned his head, his eyes flickering with horror. Abel and Quinn came over slowly, and said very embarrassedly, What? Dad, we don't know about this matter. We didn't hear anything. Real. Daddy. 39. We didn't hear anything. The two little guys are really scared. What's the matter? They really aren't those 8 trigrams people, they're really not interested in this matter. If you know this, the ghost knows what will happen next. How? Humph. Kaido grinned and said savagely, Abel, Quinn, you two will remember for Laozi, if something goes wrong. Laozi will let you two know what hell is like. 35. The two nodded hurriedly, looked at the father who was leaving, and looked at Enel who was lying on the ground. The two of them tacitly grabbed Enel, and they were really convinced. This 6th, I almost got hammered by the father die, you bastard, see how we deal with you. It can be said, because of Yamato, the whole Moby Dick looks like a jerk, I don't know what happened to the Moby Dick. Sitting cross-legged on the bow of the Moby Dick, quietly looking into the distance, Carmenio pondered, it's really exciting. What does it look like to stand on the top of this world? Quote. 35. A smile subdues and sunrise, and Carmenio's smile is full of confidence. For everything else, Carmenio doesn't care, or rather, Carmenio is really not interested in all of this, and in this case next, Carmenio is naturally more interested in power. Snapped. Clenching a fist with one hand, Carmenio is full of serious confidence. All the time, Carmenio follows the uncle, father, and uncle, and because of this, Carmenio trusts power very much, and trusts his own strength very much. Under such circumstances, Carmenio grows again and again, step-by-step growth, and he is gradually seeing a beautiful future. Top of the world. This is what Carmenio wants to set foot on. He wants to follow the uncle, father, and uncle to set foot on the apex of this world. He wants to see what the apex of this world looks like. Carmenio. Bullet walked over step by step and asked, What is this guy thinking? Carmenio pointed into the distance and said, The apex. I have always been looking forward to following the uncle, father, and uncle, step by step to the apex of this world. I want to see, the apex of this world is in the end. What is it like? Search. Licking his lips slightly, Carmenio was full of madness and sharpness. It can be said, among the younger generation of the entire Whitebeard Pirates, there are only 2 people with terrifying ambitions, that is, Carmenio and Bullet, of course. These 2 little guys do not mean that they have the ambition to dominate the world. Do not. The 2 of them have no such ambition, or rather, no one has such ambition. The ambition of the 2 of them is, to become stronger. To become stronger. To become stronger step by step, to step on the top of this world thoroughly, and only in this way, they can truly become the apex of this world, that's what they think. Woo. He let out a sigh of turbidity, while Carmenio grinned and said confidently, now I'm really looking forward to the color of the apex. It's the highest apex in the world, and in a place like that, maybe. We can everything is different, right? It's amazing. Ha ha ha. Carmenio was very excited, while Bullet put his hands around his chest and said with sharp eyes, yeah. It's true. For me, I'm also very much looking forward to it. What is the peak of this world? What an exciting culmination. Indeed, the two brothers looked at each other and were very excited. For them, what they were looking forward to most was the apex. If they could step on the apex, then everything in the future would be enough. Or, for their brothers, this lifetime is enough. Strength. Vertex. This is the power their brothers are after, to be honest. After 10 years, Tiger is about to take the final step. Under Alan's teaching, Tiger's strength has been terrifyingly improved. Which step is the distance? It should be said that it is only one step away. Besides, most importantly, Carmenio, Oz, Bullet, Abel, Guion, Enel, Marco. It can be said, in the Whitebeard Pirates, among the new generation of Little Devils, there are 8 people who are qualified, powerful, and have the potential to step into the Admiral level potential. And the status and qualifications of these 8 people are beyond doubt, precisely because so. Their status are things that do not need to be doubted at all. This is the real thing here. Do you need to doubt it? Do not. Do not. There is no need for any doubts at all. Their strength is the real terrifying strength, and their potential will be fully revealed with the passage of time. And this, under Alan's teaching, they will only surpass their own limit of potential. Jose, Bista, Tezzolo, Sachi, these little guys. The original peak, after Alan's teaching, may be able to go further, and it can also reach the level of Admiral. Can only say, what the Whitebeard Pirates lack the most is really time. 20 years for the Whitebeard Pirates. Well, that's right, in another 20 years at most, the Whitebeard Pirates will be able to achieve a very high level. Terrifying, even reaching an invincible stance. A hideous smile appeared, and everyone's expressions were full of arrogance. The two of them were already ready, and everything was just stepping on their feet. They were ready and waiting. Everything comes. Snapped, snapped. The two looked into the distance, and the sound of footsteps came, and the little guys came here. They all looked into the distance, the sun in the distance. Marco. 9. Abel couldn't help sighing and complained. Tell me about it. Do these things have anything to do with me? It's really a headache. Obviously, these things have nothing to do with me. No, it turned out. In the end, it was all my fault. Abel really wants to cry. What is this all about? It's too uncomfortable. Because of this, Abel's expression is really ugly. He doesn't know what to say. Does these things have anything to do with him? In the end, he makes himself blame. Snapped, snapped. Marco calmly patted Abel on the shoulder and said, calm down. This is also a no-brainer, isn't it like this in our family? A group of problem children, one by one, is like this, the devil knows what they think of. Marco is really quite calm, and the pictures are all casual, to be honest. As the third person who joined the Whitebeard Pirates after Bagley and Tiger, Marco is really very calm. The eldest brother and the second brother are no longer, and he is almost the third brother. Can only say, got used to. I'm really used to it. For Marco, you little fellows. It's nothing to do with each other. I'm used to it. What a mess. What a mess. Ha ha ha. It doesn't matter. I don't care. I don't care. Abel looked at Marco and said helplessly, it's really a headache. I can only say that these guys, one by one, are like this, it's really very helpless. Well, it's the same sentence. Abel, you have to get used to it a little, after all. These little guys in the family are all like this, after so many years, are you still not used to it? F***K. Abel couldn't help but complained. You're saying it lightly. Second uncle doesn't beat people if he's okay, but my father is really serious, he doesn't have any importance. 35. What? My father doesn't beat people. Don't you know? Marco and Abel are both complaining here, but, following the complaints, the two brothers suddenly discovered that they seemed to be covered by shadows behind them. 6,699. The faces of the two became ugly, and they turned their heads stiffly. How can I say it? There is a very strange feeling. When Conqueror's hockey is strong to a certain extent, it can directly make observation hockey invalid. This power is called the killer of observation hockey, and there are very few people on this sea who can do this. Gu la la la. Worororo. Newgate held Kong Yunchi and Kaido held a mace. Dad. No. Help. What? With this shrill roar, what a pity. The result is already doomed. Today's Moby Dick still looks like a chicken flying dog. Drink. Ha. 39. Drink. Ha. 5. With the roar, the little guys are training very hard. They are very serious about honing their strength to become stronger. Daily training is definitely something that is beyond doubt. Jose, Jinbei, Quinn, Sachi, Bista, Brahmank, Namur, Aruvan, Karma, Tezzolo, Whitebeard, Epoida, Andre, Doma, Street. Kuyid, Makugai, Atmos, Fosa. There are a total of 18 little guys, everyone is meditating quietly in the meditation room, and their strength has reached a short-term limit, and then they need to fight, or day after day. Keep pushing your limits, of course. This kind of meditation is so important. Besides, Anuarashi, Cat Viper, Kawamatsu, Kulito, Lakyo, Blenheim, Jingudo, Harda, Heel 5.9, Ginger, Ao, Deckard, Urban, Langba, Elmi, Dalaxy. There are a total of 16 little guys, they are insisting on firm training day after day. Every day of training is not letting down any vigilance, every day is hard training in the gravity training room, let your strength be improved again and again. It can be said, although they are said to be young, their strength and potential are quickly exerted, not only that. And they have not affected the foundation. After all, they are treated with the divine power of the horse charm, and it is impossible to leave any dark wounds and influences. To the foundation, this is absolutely impossible. Woo, he let out a deep breath of turbid air, and Lakyo wiped the sweat from his forehead, looking very weak, and said secretly, No. No, this kind of strength is simply not enough. You must become stronger, must become stronger. 99. Ha, 35. Taking a deep breath, Lakyo went on to start his own training. Every kid is like that, they're all full of energy, just kidding. They're not going to retire here, they're never going to be here, back off. This is the way for them to become stronger. They have to stick to their own path step by step and become stronger step by step. There is absolutely no doubt about it. Because of this, under such circumstances, they can work harder to become stronger, go down one step at a time, and become stronger one step at a time. This little guy is full of hard work, just like this on the Moby Dick. But it is also full of the firm Moby Dick, everyone is working hard, and time is fast. In the past, the next Whitebeard Pirates are also having more work. P.S. 5,000 word chapter. Daily 6 updates. 4th update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect. Chapter 197. Newgate. Brats. Growing up well. Humph. Yamato put on the X-row bandage cutely, sitting on the ground very unhappy, and said, Sister Hiyori, look at my mother and this grumpy. Didn't I just eat a little something? As for. Humph. Yamato snorted cutely, that's called an upset, what is it? Isn't it just eating something? In the end, this gave himself a fat beating, but although it was said to be a fat beating. In fact, according to Mizi's doting on Yamato, the degree, in fact, is only a slight hit twice. He. Hiyori smiled and brought Yamato a cup of hot milk. Gudong. He didn't care about the hot milk in his mouth, and gulps the milk, while Hiyori looked at Yamato with a smile, although Yamato said it was very miserable. But if you look a little, you will find that the actual Yamato had no wound on his forehead at all. This is just what Yamato showed in order to pretend to be miserable. From childhood to adulthood, Hiyori has experienced such scenes many times. After all, Yamato is always naughty and troublesome, and every time he is cleaned up by the third aunt, every time he is cleaned up, Yamato likes to come to Hiyori. After all, Hiyori is the only older sister who is slightly older than himself, naturally, is to find the day in the. Is it better? Hiyori looked at Yamato gently, and Yamato cracked the corners of his mouth cutely and said, Hiyana sister. Is there anything else? He tilde operator. She smiled cutely, but Yamato still puffed up her face and said, Mom is still too cruel. Every time I beat me like this, it's because of my mother's beating. Otherwise, can I be a little bean? I'm sure it's grown up. With a cute bulging face, looking at Yamato's appearance, Hiyori couldn't help but chuckle again. It's really too cute. This child is really too cute. She really deserves to be her own sister, she is too cute. Seriously, everyone in the entire Whitebeard Pirates is the most doted on Hiyori and Yamato. After all, one of these two children is cute and the other is naughty, but they are everyone's sister. As the youngest sister, she is the most favored. Especially these two sisters, whether it is the gentle and very sensible hero, or the naughty Yamato, the two little guys are very cute. Because of this, everyone naturally likes these cute little guys. Alright, okay. 35. I don't laugh anymore. Hiyori looked at Yamato, who was again cute and puffed up and stared at him with dead fish eyes, but he restrained his smile and said gently, Yamato, the third aunt is mainly afraid that something will happen to you. You are the only one at the age of 2 years, if you eat too much of a lot of things, it is not good for your health. 35. Yamato jumped up and said, Isn't this like a joke? The uncle obviously has the divine power of the horse charm, as long as the uncle's divine power is treated, there will be no physical problems. Mom just doesn't want me to eat delicious food. 5. Woo. Yamato almost cried to himself. Hiyori also shook his head helplessly, how do you say it? If you say that Yamato said something wrong. Actually, Yamato is really saying that there is no problem at all, this is really not a joke, it can be said. Yamato really that's it. But the problem is, although Yamato said that, there is also a big problem. Pity the hearts of parents in the world. Not to mention a real mother like Miko, even Alan, Newgate, and Kaido treat their adopted sons. Actually, it seems that they are training them very seriously, but who doesn't care? Impossible. Every child cares very seriously, and they are regarded as their real children. Because of this, people are like this. The human heart is more than the human heart. Only when the heart is compared with the heart can each child grow up. They will treat you as their real dad, not just a so-called joke. That's impossible. That's why they treat dad as dad. And these kids are very serious. So, rationality and sensibility cannot exist at the same time. As long as the two exist at the same time, then there is a problem. There is no doubt about it. In such a situation, what is the result? A self-evident thing. Wei Wei let out a sigh of turbid air, and Hiyori looked at Yamato, who was still angrily, and said helplessly, Yamato. That's good, let's go and see, sisters. Why dib, we have to pass the second uncle's test today. Quote. Hearing Hiyawa's words, Yamato was immediately distracted. Well, sure enough, the little head is still not very smart. Yamato asked curiously, Sister Hiyawa, shouldn't the uncle come to the test? How did you become the second uncle? Hiyori shook his head and said, Father has some things to deal with recently, so this test has become the second uncle. Let's go. Let's go and see. It is good. Go, Go, go. Yamato jumped up, and the whole person was very happy and joyful. He pulled Hiyori and ran all the way. I have to say, as expected of Kaido's daughter, she is only 2 years old. But she already looks like a monster. It's the same. Yamato pulled Hiyori and ran all the way, going straight into the distance, extremely fast. Under such circumstances, he soon arrived at the location of the Colosseum in the distance. Here, it's something built after everyone's research. Even if it's a family, sometimes there will be conflicts. So, how to deal with conflicts? It's very simple. You can come to the Colosseum and have a fight. Then you will know who wins and who loses. Result. Of course, it goes without saying that fights rarely occur, and over time, it becomes a test. Do you want to build your own pirate group? No problem. Because of this is the situation of the Colosseum of the Whitebeard Pirates, and it is also the main use of the current Colosseum. The result is that it has become like this, there is no doubt about it. After all, to put it bluntly, we are all a family. Although it is said that there will be quarrels about some things, but will we really fight? Actually, this is purely a joke. Everyone is relatives. Naturally, it is impossible to fight. To put it bluntly, after a quarrel, everyone will know that they are wrong, and they will apologize after they are wrong. Does the family still have to hold on to the word face? It's like a joke. That's absolutely impossible. Over time, it's time for this Colosseum to be completely reduced to a test, of course. Many times, if two people compete and learn from each other, they will come here, after all. The materials here are specially transformed. In addition, Alan has arranged a lot of things here through the magic energy, so there won't be too much damage. Rehei, Yamato. 5. You are here. Ha ha ha. Yamato, how are you? I heard you were beaten. 39. Everyone sat down, and when they saw Hiyori bring Yamato over, they all started to make fun of Yamato. Yamato puffed up his face and felt very unhappy. Just kidding. One by one is to make fun of himself. It really makes me unhappy. Soon, everyone sat down, and Yamato shouted loudly, Come on. Come on. Ha ha ha. Everyone was laughing, and Newgate was standing in the center of the Colosseum, looking at the little guys in front of him, with Whitebeard as the center, Namur, Aluin, Karma, Ibo, Ida, Andre, Doma, Squard, Makuge, Atmos, Fosa. The 10 little devils are standing opposite each other, everyone has sharp eyes, and they don't dare to be careless at all. Although they are 10 to 1, they really dare not relax their vigilance in the face of the old man. They know how terrifying the strength of the father is. Therefore, each and every one of them is very clear. How will they fight next? Careless. Relax your vigilance. It is estimated that they will be directly hammered to death by the father. Because of this, they will not relax their vigilance. Everyone is very serious, and they are staring at the father in front of them, making all preparations. It's about to start. Everyone's eyes are sharp enough, and Newgate said proudly, Little brats. Be serious to Laozi, and show your strength, otherwise. But you can't get Laozi's approval. 99. The corners of his mouth grinned, and the hideous smile was so terrifying, while Newgate clenched his fist with one hand. Empty shock. A terrifying shock wave swept over in an instant. In the current Newgate's original work, the old man in his 70s and 80s, with poor health and old age, is a real Newgate at his peak, and because of the dog spell, Newgate is not in his prime. It will only get stronger and stronger, but it will not get weaker. Click, click. The air burst in an instant. Looking at the densely packed glass gaps swept through, everyone looked at each other and shot at the same time. Drink. The 5 people of Namur, Ilawang, Karma, Whitebeard, and Doma joined forces to show the entanglement of armament hockey. The amazing armament hockey blocked the power of the spreading air shock. Looking at this scene, Newgate laughed heroically and said, Little boys. Really good. Not bad. Not bad. Armament hockey is very good. Search, search. But at the moment of this shot down, two figures rushed out in an instant. Roar, roar. 39. With two roars like beasts, the next moment, two huge spiders 10 meters tall have emerged. One has the head of a cow, and one of them has the horror like a vast ancient beast. Breath. It was Skeward and Atmos, who, as Zone Demon Fruit Power, turned into two afterimages and headed straight for Newgate at this moment. Roar. Daddy. 39. Here we are. Boom. The huge impact fell instantly, and the astonishing scene was that Newgate opened his hands to directly block the attack of the two, and the corners of his mouth twitched. Not bad. The two brats look good, but if that's all, you can't help Laozi. 39. Snapped. He grabbed the two little ghosts with both hands, and with both arms exerted force, he threw the two little ghosts out in an instant. The terrifying force shattered the surrounding moment, and the two figures flew out backwards and collided directly on the ground. Above the barrier, it just fell to the ground. In an instant, the faces of the two of them became very ugly, and they returned to their human form directly. Feeling the severe pain in their chests, they really felt helpless, and the two slowly stood up. Look at each other. 55. The two shot directly in the form of human and beast again, and at this time, Whitebeard and others also shot at the same time. That Muir, Elawong, Karma, the three Murlocs shot at the same time, Murloc Karate. Murloc Jiu-Jitsu. They are all vividly displayed, and these skills are divided into ordinary skills and profound meanings. Normally, they are not qualified to learn Taoism. But, are that sentence, now the owner of the Fishmen Island is Alan, or rather, Alan is the person behind the shelter of the Fishmen Island, you the Fishmen Island will not hand over these things. This is impossible. Jinbei said seriously. Then Muir, Ilawong, Karma and Murloc Karate are all very amazing. And what? Joe sat on the side of even 930 square meters, and asked curiously. Jinbei shook his head and said, it's nothing, I always feel very strange. It seems to be preparing something, everyone's strength is very strong, it's just. It seems that something is not right. 99. Jinbei finds it very strange, the three people's cooperation seems to be timid, obviously it shouldn't be like this, but the result is like this, very hesitant, obviously it shouldn't be like this. Maybe there are other preparations. No way. Jinbei shook his head and said directly, Joe's, this statement is wrong. This time the assessment is based on the overall strength, if you are opportunistic. Then it will not work, after all, the strength displayed by opportunistic tricks is completely useless. Meaningful thing. Indeed. Joe's was also taken aback by this, and then nodded seriously, don't say it. This is the truth. Or, this is not a joke. This assessment is not based on how strong you are, but based on your performance. How much strength can be exerted, if it cannot exert stronger strength, then everything is meaningless. Because of this, the situation at this moment is completely different. Snapped. Snapped. On the battlefield at this moment, the 10 little guys are fighting with their fathers quickly, and the more they fight, Newgate laughed interestingly, not bad. Not bad. Little devils, your strength is not bad. Goo la la la. Little brats, your strength has grown to the point where I am very satisfied. Newgate laughed proudly, looked at the 10 little devils around him with interest, and continued, come on. Little devils, let me continue to see your strength. 5. 66.99. The atmosphere of the battlefield has gradually become quiet, everyone's eyes are sharp enough, quietly waiting for the next result. Second uncle, come on, come on. Yamato stood on the chair and shouted loudly, beat these stinky brothers and sisters who arrested me. Just beat them down. Ooh, looking at Yamato's appearance, Newgate couldn't help laughing. Okay. Does Yamato want to see it? Well, the second uncle let these little cubs lie on the ground today. Hearing this, the corners of the mouths of the 10 people twitched, and they had great confidence in passing the test. And because of this, the corners of their mouths twitched at this moment, and they felt that it was not good. Please, how could they be beaten up for no reason? But, looking at their father's appearance, they knew that the beating was inevitable. At this moment, they all wanted to cry without tears. But what can we do? No way, it can only be like this. P.S. 5,000 word chapter. Daily 6 updates. 5th update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect. Chapter 198. Black Tiger Pirates, Sun Pirates. Boom. Boom. As the roar exploded, Skeward and Atmos both slammed into the wall with their verbal blood, and the whole person lay on the ground in a large font, although one of them was an phantom beast and the other was an ancient species, resilience is beyond doubt. Pity. Again, although it is said that your resilience is terrifying, in the face of the almost invincible force of Newgate, the so-called resilience. It is not worth mentioning at all. As long as Newgate thinks about it. Then you can these two little devils were easily defeated. Ooh, Newgate laughed and said. Atmos, Skeward, you two brats are not bad. You two brats are qualified. 9. We got it, Dad. The two of them were lying on the ground, and they really wanted to cry. What they said in the future would not owe their mouths. It was really easy to be beaten, but the result was good, because they owed their tongues, and the results were true again and again. Beaten. Just like this, it really makes people feel a headache. Shaking his head helplessly, the two are honest, but, on the battlefield, with the fall of these two, this is not the end, on the contrary. This should be regarded as a beginning, right? Goo la la la. Along with the loud laughter, Newgate turned his attention to the other little devils, and a sinister smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Next moment, snapped. Newgate has taken the initiative to launch an attack, and under the amazing offensive, this battle has only just begun. Crackling. In the face of Newgate's attack, the remaining 8 little devils fought together almost at the same time. The strength of the 8 of them is good, but it's a pity. Under Dad's attack, the result is beyond doubt, after all. Start from scratch in the end, it was not a level opponent at all, and the result was naturally beyond doubt. Bump, bump. With the explosion of such a roar, and the next result, it is already a matter that does not need to be said at all. In such an endless roar, everything around it seems to be shattered. And the result is, one by one the figures have fallen to the ground, Karma, Ilawong, Namur, 3 Murlocs lying on the ground one by one, looking half dead. In addition, Epoida, Andre, Doma, Makugai, Fosa, the 5 of them were not so good either, all of them were pale, and lay on the ground like this. Goo la la la. Newgate laughed and said, "Little brats, you are indeed qualified. But with such strength, I will continue to work hard for Laozi in the future. Otherwise, Laozi will still make you unqualified." 95. Dad, we know. They all nodded earnestly. Passing the first assessment is just the beginning. If the next assessments are still unable to pass, but fail, then the result is a natural and unquestionable matter. You can say it without hesitation. In the face of absolute strength, these are all meaningless things, and that's why. This is the most important fundamental reason, isn't it? Goo la la la. Newgate laughed and looked at the children around him. Although he said so, the smile on the corner of his mouth was extremely strong. Really undeniable. These are all their own children. And these are their own children, growing up so fast. This is something that does not need to be doubted at all. Wow, wow. A black pirate ship sails on the sea at a very fast speed, and as the pirate ship sails, the bow of this pirate ship turns out to be a roaring black tiger. The pirate flag of the pirate ship is divided into 2. The small pirate flag in the front is a pirate flag with a black tiger skull, while the back is the pirate flag of the Whitebeard Pirates. That's right. The pirate ship is the pirate group under the Whitebeard Pirates. The pirates built by Edward Bagley. Black Tiger Pirates. As well as this black tiger. Don't underestimate this black tiger, it is absolutely easy to accommodate 300 people, and this is a pirate ship built by Baoshu Adam, and it is naturally very durable. This is not surprising, back then. Although it is said that when the Moby Dick was built, the protection of Adam was almost completely consumed, but what can I say about this thing? Although it is said that it is almost consumed. But that is for the Moby Dick, and the remaining materials, basically only need to take out a part. It is not a problem to build dozens of pirate ships, and it is to build dozens of good pirate ships. It's all no problem. The Black Tiger was built through the treasure tree Adam, and it was excellent in materials in all aspects. Bagley stood on the bow of the boat, looking into the distance, and said interestingly, "These idiots. They are looking for trouble again and again, they are looking for death. Big brother, you better calm down." Yes, the people standing behind Bagley are persuading Bagley one by one. How can I say this? It's really embarrassing. Cut. Bagley said unhappily. These bastards. How dare you to trouble Lao Su? It's really Lao Su who gave him a face. Wait for Lao Su, this damn fellow, this thing is definitely no fun. Bagley is really angry, and his teeth are itchy. During this time, he always encountered a new pirate group. The strength is not very strong, but because his ship is a submarine, that is to make trouble every day. It tickles Bagley's teeth. But this is not surprising. Generally speaking, for a powerful pirate group, as long as Bagley is not actively provoked, people will not take action on Bagley. This is not a strange thing, after all. Bagley is the pirates of the Whitebeard Pirates. This is equivalent to what? 2 huge sects, disciples go out to travel, if they take the initiative to find trouble, they will be killed. Then you are more or less a little too much. Joke. What my disciples owe you. That's why. This is the fundamentally important thing, and in this case, the fundamental core is very important. Apart from that, everything else needs no words. And the second point is that it is impossible for Bagley to find trouble with these pirates. Big Mom Pirates. Flying Sky Pirates. Roger Pirates. This TM is just like a joke. Isn't this nonsense? If I take the initiative to trouble these guys, do you think I'm an idiot? If I find trouble with such a monster, it's basically a matter of death. So, Bagley wasn't an idiot, and couldn't have done such an idiot, of course. It's a different story. Big brother. The person standing behind Bagley shook his head helplessly and said, "Take it easy. No matter what the other party is, we will just wait until the future is dealt with, and now our main purpose is to go back to Uncle's birthday. Uncle still there are 2 days to celebrate the birthday. No matter how fast our speed is, it will take a day. If you are dealing with the guy now, it will be troublesome." Cut. Bagley was quite unhappy, but he was helpless. Just like what his brother said, if he catches up with him, that would be a huge problem. No matter what it was, he didn't come to the birthday party. Important. Cut. You guys, just wait for Laozi. This matter is absolutely endless. Humph. Bagley also curled his lips, and then said, brothers. Return. Return. This is Uncle's birthday party. If we can't make it, it will be a shame. That's right. That's right. The brothers shouted loudly one after the other and made a quick return flight. This is no joke. For the Black Tiger Pirates, in addition to sailing on the sea and laying a good name for themselves, they have to return once a year, after all, in addition to the test. Today is different. The uncle never cared about this birthday party, but this time, these little guys have prepared their own gifts, and all the gifts are gathered together. It is the most important, and that's why they can all are preparing. Under such circumstances, it would be the strangest thing if Bagley would not go, soon. With Bagley's return, the Black Tiger of the Black Tiger Pirates gradually disappeared. Gollum. With the disappearance of the Black Tiger Pirates and a submarine emerging from under the sea, a man squinted his eyes and said interestingly, what the hell is this guy Bagley trying to do? It's really interesting. The corners of his mouth twitched, and the man gave an order to continue to follow the Black Tiger Pirates. This man's goal was never just the Black Tiger Pirates. His ambition was very clear. He wanted to target the Whitebeard Pirates. To replace the Whitebeard Pirates and become the most powerful pirates in the world. Only, this is a very distant goal. Because of this, he has created various methods, starting to find trouble with Bagley, as long as he can defeat Bagley, and gradually face the Whitebeard Sea step by step. Thieves, then their strength will become stronger and stronger, and in the future, they will be able to defeat the three Edward brothers who are like monsters. Only, if Bagley found out, he would die of laughter. Buddy, what do you think? Then you should have said it earlier. You have to challenge the uncle, the father, the third uncle, you have said it earlier, I will introduce you, and then you if I kill it directly, the matter is over, and I don't need to bear my own harassment every day. Wow, wow. At the same time as Bagley returned, another pirate ship was returning quickly, and the owner of this pirate ship was Edward Tiger. Sun Pirates. This is the pirate group established by Tiger. There are a full 300 people on board. This number is not many. But everyone is a murloc who has been cultivated. There is absolutely no doubt about their strength. He joined the Whitebeard Pirates, and finally passed the test. Follower Tiger established the Sun Pirates. That's right. The establishment of all affiliated pirates, captains and personnel are separated from the Whitebeard Pirates. If you have new companions to join, no problem. Then you need to join the Whitebeard Pirates first, and then after passing the test, this is qualified, otherwise, it is unqualified. There is absolutely no doubt about this, and under such circumstances, there is no doubt about what the next result will be. It can be said, the situation is absolutely beyond doubt. This is the basic core. Now, the strength displayed by Tiger is also very powerful. Tiger's aptitude is there. He definitely has the potential of Admiral. Under Alan's teaching, Tiger is now rapidly increasing his strength. Under the strength of this rapid growth, naturally. That is beyond doubt. Under such a terrifying growth, the entire Tiger's strength can be said to be very terrifying. What kind of strength does Tiger have now? The actual strength of the alternate Admiral. Extinguishing mistakes, this is Tiger's current strength, enough terror with the power. It can be said without hesitation that Tiger has such amazing strength, it seems to be a matter of course. Phew. Taking a deep breath, Tiger said with sharp eyes, brothers have returned. Ready to return Wanokuni. Oh hoo. It's finally time to go back. It's amazing. 35. Yes. It's been out for more than a year in a flash. Yes. Yes. 35. The Murlocs are also very excited. The 300 of them were once members of the Whitebeard Pirates. In other words, they used to grow up on the Moby Dick step by step. Home. Now that the child is older, he said he came out and created his own power. But, if you go home, you will be very excited. Ha ha ha. Tiger laughed and said, you guys. However, it's normal, we haven't been home for more than a year. Brothers, hurry up and try to go home tomorrow. This time is Uncle's birthday. If we miss it, we will never be able to forgive ourselves for the rest of our lives. Oh hoo. That's right. 39. That's right. The brothers are more excited than each other. They are all screaming loudly, yes. They are not idiots. As they grow older, everyone is very clear. One of the best people for them is the uncle. Ah. Promise is good and the uncle is so kind to them. If they are all kind and revenge, it would be too much, because of this. Every little guy is very serious. He. Ha ha ha. With the loud laughter, Tiger waved his hand. Go back. 35. Return. Big brother Tiger. The flag of the Sun Pirates is just like that of the Black Tiger Pirates. The front is the flag of the Murloc that looks like the sun and the back is the flag of the Whitebeard Pirates. This already represents everything. The origin of the Sun No of the Sun Pirates and the Black Tiger No of the Black Tiger Pirates are actually exactly the same. This is because there are many reasons for the subsequent transformation. It can be said, there is no doubt in all aspects. Correct. Right stock. Mentioning this matter, Tiger suddenly turned his head and looked at his younger brother. The younger brother continued. Brother Tiger. The problem of the Fishman Island should be no problem, right? 35. Tiger nodded very seriously. It's not a joke, it's a very important thing. For so many years, the Whitebeard Pirates have protected the Fishman Island at the back, while the Sun Pirates are the real protectors of the Fishman Island, and Tiger's strength has improved so quickly, also because in the Fishman the island has gone through bloody battles again and again, and in such battles, the strength has been rapidly improved. Of course, no matter what it is, it can be seen from here that this strength is absolutely beyond doubt, and there is no need to doubt it at all. And as time goes on, what will be the result? Actually, this is something that doesn't need to be doubted, Tiger thought for a while. This matter, the Fishman Island is basically no problem, but no matter what, it can't prevent this time to go home. This is the uncle birthday. 35. P.S. 5,000 word chapter. Daily 6 updates. 6th update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect. Chapter 199. 4th template. Nigga Mask. Black Tiger Pirates. Sun Pirates. Both are returning to the Moby Dick at a very fast speed, this year. No matter what, they are going home, and if they miss the uncle's birthday, they will not forgive themselves. And, snapped. The entire room was covered by a dark purple aura, and a terrifying roar resounded. The next moment, everything returned to calm. Alan opened his eyes and spit out a mouthful of turbid air. The expression of the whole person was different. Look. It's still a little bit. Alan rubbed his eyebrows. After so many years of hard work, he has always been a little bit worse than Conqueror's hockey, not much. But, this is the most headache. Obviously it feels almost the same, but unfortunately, it's still a bit worse. Well, take your time, this last step is obviously not something that can be done with pure effort. Obviously, it needs some insight. Alan lit a cigarette, stood up, walked to the window, and quietly looked at the scenery outside the window, thinking in his heart. Conqueror's hockey. Actually, when it really reaches the highest point, it is not something that can be achieved simply by hard work and hard training, but requires a kind of insight. This feeling is almost like the awakening of devil fruit. It is really not simple, there is no doubt that it can be done step by step. Woo. He exhaled a deep puff of smoke, and Alan's expression was filled with calmness. This is not surprising. There is no such thing as a saying in this world that you can become stronger just by working hard. Don't make trouble. Maybe before a certain level, your effort, your exercise can make your strength continue to improve, but when you reach a certain level, then the result is that it has become different. Genius is 99% hard work and 1% inspiration. This sentence is true, but unfortunately, if there is no 1% inspiration, then 99% of the hard work is rubbish. Some people think that Luffy's growth is the protagonist, some people are definitely open, but this is indifferent. When Alan was sitting in the traverser standing here, then, the result was that there was no doubt about it, and he really knew that it was aptitude, and the aptitude of others was enough, then everything was beyond doubt. Woo. Breathing out another puff of smoke, Alan said casually, System, open my attribute panel. Name. Edward Allen. Template. Demon General Nigga, 20%, Demon of the Wind Sao Feng, 100%, Demon of the Moon Curse Blue, 109,300%, Demon of Fire Holy Lord, 100%. Demonic Chi. Fire Demonic Energy, Moon Demonic Energy, Wind Demonic Energy. 12 Charms. Dragon Charm, Edward Kaido, Dog Charm, Edward Newgate. Ghost Mask. Ghost Core, inactive. 8 Demons. Demon of Fire, inactive, Demon of the Moon, inactive. Hockey. Conqueror's Hockey, top, Armament Hockey, top, Observation Hockey, top. Looking at his panel, Alan pondered a little, and said secretly, it seems that the mask of the ghost group can only be activated when it reaches 100%, and now Conqueror's Hockey has reached its peak, but although it is said to have reached the peak, but according to my estimation, there is still a very large gap from the real peak. Alan shakes his head. It is undeniable that Armament Hockey's emission, Observation Hockey's peeping into the future, he has achieved it, and Conqueror's Hockey's entanglement, of course, he has achieved the same. But what about the higher level? The invincible power of Conqueror's Hockey in the hands of Captain Rocks, and this power is the most terrifying thing. That is the true apex of Conqueror's Hockey. Beyond that, what Shanks masters is also one of the vertices of Conqueror's Hockey, killing by seeing and hearing. To put it bluntly, Conqueror's Hockey can offset the peeping of Observation Hockey, so that the other party can't peep into his future at all. This is also a very amazing use of Conqueror's Hockey. Therefore, it can be said, Conqueror's Hockey seems to be only the 3 simplest powers, but it is a big mistake. As you develop Conqueror's Hockey, you will gradually discover that this is a very special and amazing power. If it can be developed step by step seriously, the power that can be developed will be very terrifying. Because of this is the real power of Conqueror's Hockey, and that's why Alan developed his own template step by step, but for the fundamental reason why Conqueror's Hockey never let go, this power is definitely strong enough, as long as it can be developed, the fundamental core is beyond doubt. Well, 35. It's not in a hurry anyway, that's it for the time being. Alan shrugged his shoulders too, but he didn't really care. The whole person exhaled thick smoke, and it was very calm. And it was 10 years. During these 10 years, Alan's appearance still seemed to be indistinct. There are no changes. Or, after so many years, Alan looks like nothing has changed, it's still so simple, still so peaceful, and that's why. That's the most interesting thing. Woo. A puff of smoke came out, Alan turned around, and left the room, if so. Once Alan was a tyrannical lunatic, but as time goes by, people will always grow, Alan is in more growing up. Character. After a lot of training, after all. My age is not too young, although I say. I don't care about these, but my character is still more mature, the tyranny in the battle has not changed, I pursue the strongest, the heart has not changed, but. No matter what, there is one thing, that is, he is indeed more mature. Time will make people mature gradually, which is why many immortal people either lose their feelings in the end, or the fundamental reason for traveling the world, because their feelings have gradually become indifferent over time, naturally don't care at all. Father. As soon as he walked out of the room, Alan saw Guillaume approaching. Alan raised his head and smiled. Guillaume, what's wrong? Father. Guillaume came over and said, Father, are you finished? Alan waved his hand and said casually, that's it. It's a pity. Although I have a little idea, I still can't do it for a higher level conqueror's hockey, indeed. A higher level conqueror's hockey is still too difficult to handle. Point 35. Shaking his head with emotion, Alan really felt very headache and helpless, that's all. It's not really a joke, but he really feels helpless. Conqueror's hockey is more of a feeling or a kind of comprehension. If you realize it, then everything is easy and simple. If you don't realize it, I'm sorry, but it is extremely difficult. Therefore, this thing is definitely a headache, and Alan is also very calm, after all. It doesn't need to be urgent, failure is failure, and it's good to succeed again next time, it's not urgent matter. Hee. Guillaume smiled and said, Father, don't be too eager, the peak of conqueror's hockey is not so easy to reach, unless it is someone with extraordinary talent. Otherwise, it is so easy there. Alan also smiled and nodded. That's true, what you said is true, unless it is someone with extraordinary talent, otherwise, it is not an easy task, think about it, it is indeed the case. This is not a strange thing. But, to speak of top hockey, Alan thought for a while, then shook his head and said, there is indeed a person. That person was born with the talent of the top hockey. That person is now in the Roger Pirates, and he is already in his teens. Shanks. Buggy. Guillaume is still very clear about this information, and he is very clear about these two people. Shanks. Buggy. These two little devils are trainee crew members of the Roger Pirates. They are both in their teens, but their strength is very good and penultimate. Everyone is convinced that if these two little devils don't die, then the future absolutely the powerhouse above the top C. Newgate and Kaido's judgments on these two little devils are very clear. Yes. 35. Shanks. Alan nodded and said, Shanks' talent AGFJ is very good. Especially in Conqueror's hockey, the talent is absolutely amazing, maybe even Captain Rocks can't compare to Shanks. Seriously. This sentence is not a joke by Alan, in terms of Conqueror's hockey's talent, Shanks is really too good, even to a shocking level, just on Conqueror's hockey. Shanks has really been upgraded to the ultimate that can be upgraded, and can even achieve the effect of seeing and killing, which is almost impossible for anyone, even the Captain Rocks of that year has never done this. It is possible you can see how great this is. Guillaume also nodded and said, I see, but, Father, what is the identity of this Shanks? Not sure. 9. Alan shook his head and said, the origin of Shanks is very special, he is either the Celestial Dragons or the descendant of Captain Rocks, but it doesn't matter which one is, he has joined the Roger Pirates, except outside of the Roger Pirates, anyone has let him join it. This sentence, Alan, is not a joke, but a real fact. Shanks has a very special origin, he joined the Roger Pirates by mixing in the treasures that Roger grabbed, and these treasures came from the Valley of the Gods. Because of this, Shanks' identity is either the descendant of celestial dragons or the son of rocks, and according to the attitude of the five elders towards Shanks, the greatest possibility is that the descendant of celestial dragons, because of the fall, has become similar to Doflamingo. For such a person, the possibility is absolutely very high. Never mind. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how Shanks is with Laozi. Are every kid in our family weaker than Shanks? Just kidding. Alan is full of arrogant gestures, joking, these little devils in his own family are weaker than Shanks. Yes, children such as Marco, Abel, Guillaume may not be so strong, but don't forget. Bullet, Gamenio, this one, all of them are real monsters. And with such strength, the result is naturally beyond doubt. This strength is definitely something that does not need to be doubted. Alan said casually. By the way, Guillaume, those little brats, how are your preparations going? Quote. Guillaume was stunned for a moment, then chuckled. Father, did you forget that the assessment was yesterday? The assessment has ended, and the second uncle has recognized their strength. What? F***K. 35. Alan was stunned for a moment, and the whole person couldn't help but exclaimed, I completely forgot about this matter. However, it's okay, it's not an important matter. The second guy, since he has proved it, then there's nothing wrong with it. It's impossible for the second child to spoil these stinky bastards in this matter. I know very well that Newgate is a doting dad who dotes on these little devils. This is not a joke, these are all children of my own family. I and the third child dote on these little devils very much. I hope these little devils can grow up better, but the same. In this matter, it is absolutely impossible to do so. This is the case with these people, they can spoil them anywhere, but absolutely cannot spoil them in terms of absolute strength. There is absolutely no doubt about it. If you spoil them in this respect, it is not for them. What a good thing. They're going to pay a huge price for this. It's a very important thing because of this situation. So, it is impossible for Newgate to be waterproof, and since they agreed, they must have been admitted, and this is something that does not need to be doubted. Other than that, Alan thought about it and said, forget it. There's nothing wrong. By the way, is Neil's body okay? Mentioning this matter, Alan frowned slightly. Neil has followed his three brothers for a long time, and as time goes by, Neil's life has been getting worse and worse. His age is indeed very big. Guillaume shook his head and said, Father, Uncle Neil's health is not particularly good, after all. Uncle Neil is just an ordinary person, although you have cleaned up all the pain, but as time goes on, I am getting more and more tired and old. 5. Alan nodded, even if a person does not have any injuries, but as time goes on, he will still gradually grow old with time, and this kind of aging cannot be changed. What? I see. 19. Alan nodded and said, I will find a way to deal with this matter. It is indeed another idea. Although I don't know if it can be successful, but try it. 99. Alan already has an idea in his mind. If it can be successful, then of course it is the best thing. But if it fails, then I can only say, this is something that can't be helped, after all. Try it once. Okay, Father. 55. Guillaume knew that since his father said so, then the possibility of success is there, and it is a very high thing. After all, his father has never been a big talker. When he said it, he wanted to do it, it's very important. There is no doubt about this, and Guillaume is very clear about this. Only, Guillaume doesn't know what to do with his father, of course. The trust in Alan, whether it's the little devils, the second child, the third child, or everyone, is full of absolute trust. From their point of view, Uncle, since that is what they say, it is absolutely possible to succeed. This is absolutely, there is no doubt about it, because this is the power of Alan. This is something that does not need to be doubted at all. This is a kind of absolute confidence, absolute trust in Alan. P.S. 5,000-word chapter. Daily 6 updates. First update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect. Chapter 200. Alan, little devils, are you hiding something from me? Father. 35. Hiyori ran over staggeringly, very cute and well behaved, while Alan lowered his head and hugged Hiyori directly, looked at the lovely daughter in his arms, and said gently, have you had a good time recently? Hiyori nodded cutely, and then said, however, Yamato doesn't feel very happy. 35. Raising his eyebrows, Alan said, what happened to Yamato? Alan is very serious about the daughter of his third child, this is a real daughter. Hiyori said with a smile, Uncle San and Aunt San have always been cleaning up Yamato recently. It is really pitiful to hear from Yamato that they were mixed doubles. So recently Yamato has been unhappy and very unhappy. Ha ha ha. Listening to Rihi's explanation, Alan restrained his laughter and said, normal. Hi, and this little girl is a skin monkey in the movie. It's not surprising that this kind of character is not surprising, but the third child is actually involved in it. What's going on? He. Mentioning this matter, Guillaume chuckled and said, Aunt San won't let Yamato eat other food secretly, but told Yamato to eat a nutritious meal, but it turns out Yamato even sneaked the dog fruit collected by Uncle San. Katakana middle dot illusory beast species big mouth true god type was eaten directly, and as a result, the third uncle and the third aunt gave mixed doubles, but it's just a joke. After all, true god Dako is also a top-level phantom beast, devil fruit. If you eat it, you will eat it. This is nothing. 35. Listening to Guillaume's words, Alan nodded and said, even though you say so, but that skin monkey from Yamato, if you get beaten, you get beaten. It's not a strange thing, after all. That little girl's movie is real. Naughty. Guillaume and Hiyori shook their heads obediently, while Alan continued after thinking for a while. Right. I see these stinky brats recently, one of them is mysterious, what are these stinky brats doing? Woolen cloth. What? I do not know. Yes. Guillaume and Hiyori both looked surprised, and did not hesitate to express that they did not know. 66. 39. Seeing the appearance of the two sisters, Alan couldn't help complaining, do you two sisters think I'm an idiot? Or, you two sisters think I can't see it? He tilde operator tilde operator tilde operator. The two sisters smiled cutely, but, as for whether they are particularly clear about what they want to do, Alan waved his hands casually. Forget it. Forget it, it's not a big deal anyway, you guys. The group of stinky little guys, I don't know what they are thinking. Alan didn't continue to say anything. After all, these little guys in my family, the devil knows what they are going to do, of course. No matter what they do, it doesn't matter, it's not a big deal anyway. He tilde operator tilde operator tilde operator. The two sisters were smiling, but they still didn't plan to say it. Alan just rolled his eyes. Forget it. Forget it. If you don't like to say it, just don't say it. Just a small problem. Next, it's time to take a break. What? Holding Rahe and walking out of the castle, Alan squinted his eyes comfortably in the face of the sun. Recently, he has been studying this conqueror's hockey every day. He is already a little tired. The two sisters also followed their father, with smiles on their lips. After all, they have to watch it. It would be bad if someone else suddenly said something wrong, and the birthday party is only a day away from the start. Click, click. Just walking out, Alan saw the whale's mouth gradually opening, and a pirate ship slowly sailed in. With two sisters, Alan's figure stepped out step by step, and disappeared like a teleportation. Ha ha ha. Finally home. Yes. 35. Yes. 35. So tired. Comfortable. 99. The Black Tiger Pirates have a total of nearly 300 people, and now, everyone looks comfortable, with a carefree smile. They are all very happy, after all. Today's home is a very happy thing. Back home. And, it's a big day, and of course it's time for a good rest. Boys, why did you guys come back so early this year? When they just landed, they saw Alan standing there, and looking at themselves and others casually, making everyone's faces stiff, and they hesitated for a while, not knowing what to say. Alan raised his eyebrows, keenly aware that something was wrong, and with this wave, Bagley came over, scratched his head and said, Uncle. We are just tired, so come back and take a good rest. After all, it's already good. I haven't been home for a long time. Really? 5. Yes. 5. Yes. 35. Seeing the untrusting look of the uncle, and the little guys nodded hurriedly. Watching this scene, Alan waved his hands casually. Forget it. You little guys, do whatever you want. It's okay, it doesn't matter anyway, it really is. Alan is also too lazy to say anything. These stinky bastards just like to play like this, and they don't know what the mystery is. However, the mystery is not a big deal anyway. If you don't say it, you don't say it. Laozi don't particularly care. He tilde operator tilde operator tilde operator. Seeing that my uncle finally stopped asking, the little guys all let out a sigh of relief, and finally stopped asking. After all, if you continue to ask, then the follow-up matter is hard to say. This is really not the case, just kidding. If you keep asking, the hell knows what the hell is going on. Alan looked at the situation in front of him casually, and thought for a while. But, Bagley, what's the situation on the sea now? Seriously, Alan has not cared much about the outside world for about a year or two. In fact, the reason is very simple. He has been cultivating this conqueror's hockey. In the end, this conqueror's hockey was a very headache, and I always felt that it was very difficult to deal with. When it came to this matter, Bagley shook his head and said, Uncle. The whole new world is a mess, and crazy people jumped out one by one. I don't know where these guys came from. It's been 10 years. The number of these lunatics is still very large, jumping out again and again, and emerging again and again. But, the most powerful pirates on the ocean are the 3 pirates, our Whitebeard Pirates, the Golden Lions Airborne Pirates, and Roger Pirates. Besides that, other pirates, they are all relatively weak. What about Akoku, John, Silver Axe? Alan just asked casually. 5 years ago, there was a war between the two sides, the 4 of them joined forces, and their side also showed amazing strength, finally. After that battle, the two sides came to an end, not to continue to be involved in it. This matter is also a very important thing. Listening to Alan's words, Bagley continued. The alliance still exists, and their main idea is not clear for the time being, just know. It is indeed a very stable existence. I see. Alan nodded calmly, and then said, okay. It's not a big deal anyway, although I don't know what's going on with you brats, but it's all for Laozi to pay attention, not to make it too confusing. Okay. 99. Uncle. 39. We know. Bagley nodded hurriedly. He knew that if the uncle really wanted to know, he would definitely not be able to hide it from the uncle, but the uncle didn't want to ask at all. For you little guys, what do you like to do? It's just how you do it, and it's not a big deal anyway. Really are. Alan turned around and was about to leave just now. At this moment, a tall figure appeared, and he said carelessly, this time it's going to. Snapped. Bagley's speed was extremely fast. It was really an instant that he directly pressed Tiger to the ground. The ground almost collapsed. What's the situation? What's going on? The whole person widened his eyes in astonishment, and looked at Bagley and said differently, brother. What are you doing? Fool. What? Tiger followed Bagley's gaze, and as expected, he saw his uncle, and immediately said with a twitch, This time, I must drink and have a good time. 35. Idiot. Alan couldn't help complaining, then shook his head silently, and left. Obviously, these little devils definitely have something to hide from themselves, but I don't know what it is, but it doesn't matter anyway. The thing is. Never mind. Never mind. For these two little devils, I am too lazy to say so much. Anyway, these little guys won't tell themselves. Uncle, 95. Listening to these little guys greeting each other, Alan waved his hand, too lazy to say anything, and then left. Guillaume walked over quickly and said, "You idiots. Why are you so late? Tomorrow it's about to start. Have you brought your stuff back?" 35. Bring it back. Bring it back. Nodding hastily, Tiger and Bagley also knew that this time was indeed over. The birthday party was about to start tomorrow. If the time passed, it would be embarrassing. Okay. Guillaume quickly left with the things, and everyone started to get busy. Alan walked around and knew that these little guys definitely had something to hide from him, and they were all mysterious. Look. 0. For flowers. Big brother. Quote. Big brother. 5. Second. Third, what are these little devils hiding from me? Listening to the elder brother's question, Newgate and Kaido both twitched at the corners of their mouths. Although the two of them did not participate in it, they really couldn't say it casually. It's not purely for their own family. Isn't the kid happy to find it? Really are. Looking at the appearance of these two guys, Alan also waved his hands and said, "Forget it. Forget it. You know if you don't want to say it, forget it, really. It's okay. I just wait and see." A group of little guys, the devil knows what the hell is researching. 359. 6699. Looking at the big brother who left, the two brothers smiled and shook their heads. This is a surprise prepared by a group of little guys for their big brother. If the two fathers were to destroy it, it would be too embarrassing. Day 2. What? Alan stretched comfortably and walked out of the castle slowly, but he was stunned just as he walked out of the castle. At this moment, everyone in the Whitebeard Pirates was surrounded by them. Worth to talk about. How many people does the Whitebeard Pirates have? There are 7,000 people. Over the years, all the members of the Whitebeard Pirates have increased to 7,000 people. If you include the logistics staff, there are a total of 70,000 people. Quantity, and under such a terrifying quantity, then, the result naturally does not need to be said. Right now, everyone was around here. They looked at Alan who walked out of the castle, and they all shouted loudly, "Uncle! Happy birthday!" Crackling. A lot of fireworks bloomed instantly. Everyone was extremely happy. They were all laughing excitedly. Everyone was like this, and looking at the scene in front of them, especially Guillaume holding Hiyori and Yamato, casually. He smiled and said, "You stinky brats, are you just going to study this kind of thing for Laozi? It's not necessary at all." Ha ha ha. Alan laughed loudly, very happy. These brats, this moment. The feeling is the real difference. Uncle, 99. As the first adopted son, Bagley came over with a huge box and said seriously, "Uncle. This is a gift from all of us, I hope you like it." He tilde operator tilde operator tilde operator. Bagley was smiling, and everyone was looking at Alan happily. Alan just smiled but didn't say anything, actually. There's no need to say anything at all. These stinky brats' gifts, no matter what they are made of, actually don't matter. I don't care at all, except come down. No matter what happens, it doesn't matter, no matter what the gift is. Exclamation mark. In Bagley's smile, in everyone's smile, Alan calmly opened the box in his hand, and a heavy coat emerged. This is a black coat, and looking at this coat, Alan was also slightly stunned. For pirates, some things really have different meanings. Just like Marine's cape with the word, justice, written on it, is this cape really a simple cape? It's not. The cape represents something completely different to Marine. The huge coat represents Marine's justice, so to speak. The word justice represents Marine's duty. Same. On this sea, many strong men also wear their own captain's coats. Does anyone have such clothes? It's like a nickname. Your nickname is meaningless at all. Things, and it's only important that other people give you a nickname. Only the wrong name, no wrong nickname. This is the foundation on this sea, and the same goes for the captain's coat. Marine's coat of justice is because your position has arrived, so Marine gives you the honor, and the captain's coat. If you can't get the trust of all the crew, and give it to you personally, and you put on a captain's coat yourself. That's a no-brainer. And, at this moment, Alan is in front of the captain's coat. Quote. Alan looked at the captain's coat in front of him, and seemed to be in a daze for a while Bagley said with a smile, "Uncle. This is just the first gift. It's not over yet, not yet, it's over. 3 gifts, don't worry." That's right. These little guys have prepared a total of 3 gifts. What exactly do these 3 gifts represent? In fact, they are the recognition of their uncle. And because of this is what makes Alan feel the difference involuntarily. P.S. 5,000-word chapter. Daily 6 updates. Second update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect. Chapter 201. Birthday presents. Captain's coat, captain's knife, and fire gun. Ha ha ha. Alan laughed loudly. You bastards, really. Speaking of which, Alan said casually. Really. It's really unpleasant to make Laozi. I'm actually hiding my birthday from Laozi. 35. He he he. Bagley said with a big smile. Uncle, put it on and try it out. Every thread of this coat is prepared by each of the brothers. Ah. 35. Alan took the coat and draped it directly on his body. The coat was as long as his bare feet. On top of the jet black coat, there were only a pair of blood-red eyes, which were vertical pupils like beasts. Without any trace, it makes people feel as if it is very strange. Alan felt the captain's coat that was just right, and said interestingly, it's really very good. Not bad. He tilde operator tilde operator tilde operator. Listening to the uncle's words, Bagley and the little ghosts around couldn't help laughing, while Bagley stepped back, and Abel walked over step by step. Uncle, this is the second gift for you. 35. A second gift. Click. The treasure chest was opened again. It was a long sword emitting a dark red light, exuding a terrifying aura, a demon sword. It is not simple, it is definitely not a simple long knife. Alan said interestingly. Abel, what's the name of this Bingdao? Demon. Abel said seriously. This sword is called a demon. It is a famous sword jointly created by 12 top swordsmiths in Wano-kuni. It is said that it has the power as much as the supreme sharp sword, but we can't be sure whether it is so. Because none of us can tame this Bing demon. So it is. 39. 933. Alan's interesting one hand directly held the demon in his hand. In an instant, blood-red murderous aura and dark purple ghost energy burst out at the same time, two terrifying auras, as if turned into two roaring like an evil spirit. It is roaring and roaring in the sky. Only. Hee. The corners of Alan's mouth grinned open, and that hideous smile was like that of a demon, but looking at this terrifying smile, the roaring demon gradually regained its calmness, and finally returned to Alan's hands, gradually regaining its calmness. Humph. Nice sword. 39. The demon was unsheathed, and Alan casually swiped a knife flower, looking at the famous knife in his hand with fun, nodding slightly, and still very applauded. A good famous knife is indeed very good in terms of power. Nodding calmly, Alan's expression is full of endless indifference. Is this Bing Dao actually powerful? Well, it is very strong, but power is never the most important thing. Or rather, power simply doesn't matter. I am not good at using this kind of weapon. What I am most good at is fighting from fist to flesh, but for knives. Actually, to put it bluntly, this is the second type of captain's identity, that is, the captain's saber, which is the captain's knife. Among the pirates, only the captain can hold the sword, and few people actually use the captain's sword as a weapon. And Alan looked at the demon in his hand, pinned it to his waist, and said with a smile, Stinky boys. You have prepared quite well. It's really good, then. Let me see, the third one gift, what is it? Actually, Alan probably guessed what the third gift is. For a captain, there are only 3 treasures that are most important. The first is the captain's coat, the second is the captain's knife, and the third is. Snapped. Guillaume walked over step by step, with a smile on his lips, and said very gently, Father, this is the last gift. What? 99. With a smile on his lips, Alan quietly looked at the last gift. He walked over to Guillaume and opened the last treasure chest. Sure enough. Although it is full of gorgeousness, it is a musket that does not give people a bloated feeling. Fire gun. This is the last weapon that belongs to every captain. This is the case for every captain, or rather, for them, the captain's coat, the captain's knife, and the fire gun, these are the 3 pieces that represent the captain's identity. Baby, and even more so with the last musket. Look at the weapon hanging on Roger's waist and Captain Rock's. You know, in many cases, except for people who don't care, many captains are equipped with such 3 treasures. Ha ha ha. Alan took the Swayo gun, and pinned it to his waist at will, with a smile on his mouth. You little brats. But I have prepared a nice birthday present for Laozi. Really, you stinky brats, the banquet has begun. Oh hoo. Ha ha ha. The banquet has begun. With the voice of the uncle, this exciting banquet has finally begun. Everyone doesn't care about all this anymore, they know it. This is enough. Although this birthday party looks very casual, it is actually, but it's not the case. This is enough for them. This sentence is enough. Lively. The grand banquet has finally begun. Uncle. 95. Yamato ran over happily, and Alan also hugged Yamato. Yamato said with a smile, Uncle. Your clothes, Yamato, is also made of silk thread. Yamato is amazing, right? Alan hugged Yamato and said with a smile, Yamato is the best. Let's grow up well in the future. Front page. Yamato nodded cutely, and she complained directly, Uncle, Dad and Mom always bully me. They always beat me. Uncle, can you avenge me? Yes. 35. Yes. 99. Alan rubbed Yamato's little head dotingly, and said with a smile, I can't beat your mother, but I can beat your father. The third child is indeed going to be beaten. 6699. Kaido was silent, he didn't know what he should say for a while. What do you mean? This has something to do with Laozi. Does it have anything to do with me? No, what did I do? This hilarious birthday at the banquet, why do you have to be beaten for no reason at all? This moment, Kaido really fell into silence. Ha ha ha. He. Oh who. 6699. Abel, Quinn, and Enel all let out a loud laugh of excitement. His father was all right, he just bullied himself and others, and now it's all right. Finally, someone is going to bully his father. Only, with his father's terrifying eyes looking over, the three little devils are all obediently silent. Don't be arrogant. Don't be arrogant. It's better for them to be honest, otherwise. If my father catches them well, it is estimated that it is dead. Even if it is not dead, it is not so good to go there. Cut. Kaido looked at the three little devils, and pouted his lips unhappily, as if he wanted to kill these three little devils. Only, snapped. A hand was placed on Kaido's shoulder, Alan floated in the air, patted Kaido's shoulder, opened his mouth, and said grimly, "Stinky boy. Do you always bully my niece?" Kaido's mouth twitched. Big brother. Yamato is really disobedient. You know, if Yamato was obedient, I wouldn't be able to do such a thing, right? He. The corners of Alan's mouth grinned, and he said savagely, "This is not an important matter. I want to see, you bastard, what do you want to do next? You wait for me." 66.99. Kaido was about to cry. He really never imagined that at a lively birthday party, he would end up being the one who was beaten. In desperation, Kaido looked at Yamato, thinking in his heart, after returning, how to take care of this filial daughter. Ha ha ha, everyone is laughing, but they are all very happy about this trivial matter. This is not a big deal at all. Especially when the relatives are fighting, of course, they are even happier. In this way, everyone is smiling happily, and Alan is shaking his head casually, really. It's just a very simple thing, but for the family, it's the most interesting, isn't it? Everyone is smiling. This is the simplest, but the simpler it is, the happier it is. Banquet. The excitement began, and one by one the little guys ran over with wine glasses. Uncle. Bagley and Tiger ran over with their wine glasses grinning and said carelessly, "Uncle. Cheers. 99. Alan also refused to come, and drank the wine in the glass directly, and both of them smiled happily. "Uncle. You don't know. We are hurrying up. Finally catch up." 35. Yes. Alan joked. Bagley, Tiger, why can't you two come back sooner? What? Hearing the uncle's words, the two brothers were dumbfounded and scratched their heads. They were all dumbfounded for a while, and there was a feeling that they didn't know what to say, and they looked at these two dumb little devils. Alan couldn't help laughing. Ha ha ha. Alan laughed and said, "Okay. It's okay. I'm just teasing you two little brats. It's not a big deal, just come back. I don't remember his birthday, it's not a big deal." Waving his hand casually, Alan really cares, it's not a big deal. It's not an important thing, just such a thing, there's really no need to care too much. He tilde operator. Bagley scratched his head and said, "Actually, it's mainly a bastard who is always looking for trouble. Also, like a loach, after the challenge, he ran away, which is really a headache. His boat is still submarine, even if you try to catch this guy, you can't catch it." Bagley is really so angry that his teeth are itchy, this guy is too annoying. Such a guy is really quite a headache. Alan raised his eyebrows and said casually, "However, this is quite normal, as you little bastard's status above the sea is improving, there will definitely be more and more challengers, this is nothing. Strange things. 39. Alan felt that it didn't matter, because this is a very normal thing. For this sea, with the improvement of strength, when your strength is completely improved, then it is natural. This is what happens, this not a strange thing. Challenger. Challenged. This is always a cycle, and if you don't want to be defeated, then you must always show your strength instead of being defeated, otherwise, it will be embarrassing, and that's why. Continue to improve your strength. This is why Alan let these little devils come back once a year, you have to maintain your strength, otherwise. If you regress, then everything is meaningless at all. When you regress, challenge your people will not regress, they will only become more and more terrifying, in the end. They will incarnate into tigers and devour you in one bite. This is the only result. What? When Tiger heard this, he was stunned. Brother, if this is the case, when I returned to Wano Kuni, I encountered a submarine, and that guy was sneaking into Wano Kuni, and I just directly it's done. Bagley's mouth twitched. In fact, this is a normal thing, after all. Tiger is a murloc, and his aptitude is extremely terrifying. With the potential of the owner, his strength in the deep sea is beyond doubt. Therefore, Tiger's increase in strength is absolutely terrifying. Under such circumstances, you don't have to think about it to know what the result is. Just these guys. It's really easy to deal with. It's nothing at all, just casually that's the guy who killed it. Listening to Tiger's words, Bagley nodded and said, "Okay. Such a guy, if you get rid of it, you get rid of it, and it's a headache anyway. For this kind of provocative guy, really it's just a headache." Bagley is also really very helpless. Such a guy is too disgusting. It's not because of other reasons, but this guy. In the deep sea. Such a family of 5.9. You let a demon fruit power like Bagley be quite helpless. Alan pondered. If I remember correctly, in the past half year, craftsmen have developed a brand new deep-sea attack weapon. Even in sea water, it is extremely powerful and has a very long range. You can equip it later. After all, it is demon fruit power, which is also very important. Indeed. Listening to the uncle's words, Bagley nodded and said, Uncle. Such a guy is indeed the most troublesome thing. After all, such a guy in the deep sea is indeed very difficult to deal with. It is undeniable to say. For any capable person, it is actually very difficult for you to let the other party directly kill a murloc. People can directly enter the deep sea. Of course, the exception is for guys like Kaido, because of the special nature of his body. Kaido's physical fitness is extremely terrifying, and Kaido has a very special ability, which is not affected by seawater in the deep sea, which is what Kaido is called. It is the root cause of the strongest creatures in the sea, land and air. Of course, the other is that there is no need to say more. Now everything is in front of you, it is enough. There is absolutely no doubt about that. After thinking for a while, Alan continued, but, besides, the two of you also need to continue the assessment, which is just right. We have come back this year, so we will assess together in a few days, then all the little brats have passed the test. If you two fail, it will be a very shameful thing. The two brothers looked at each other and fell silent. P.S. 5,000-word chapter. Daily 6 updates. Third update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect. Chapter 202. Wanokuni. Whose undead is it? Go away. 39. Go away. 35. Okay. Bagley and Tiger both ran away with a smile, while Alan shook his head with a smile. These brats. It's true. One by one, always like this. I don't know when can really grow up. Quote. Gudong. Gudong. As Alan said, he was stunned for a moment, then shook his head with a smile, and said casually, I don't know when I started to sigh like this. Really. Become. This moment, Alan drank the beer in one gulp, and the whole person also had a touch of emotion, to be honest. Usually, it doesn't matter, but, at this moment, there is indeed a different feeling. Counting the age, the current Alan has reached 47 years old, this age is nothing. Just sometimes, it is like this, people. It will definitely grow up, youth and frivolity have not changed, but with time with the growth of his body, even if his appearance does not change at all, his heart will still undergo different changes. There is absolutely no doubt about this change. Breathing out a puff of smoke, Alan looked into the distance and murmured, it's not bad. People, if you live in this world, if you don't have any feelings at all, then there's no point in living. What I want is the strongest position, and this position. If you want to do well, then someone must follow him, after all. When there are no people who can stand by his side, then it's just too boring. Alan shook his head, his expression was very calm, and there was only endless terror and horror in those vertical pupils' eyes. It is undeniable to say. It's not surprising that Alan is growing, everyone is growing, even to say. Everyone is growing, it's not surprising that, over time, everyone is growing, it's not surprising that we go further and further down the road. Same. Alan is also growing up in the same way. Some people, after walking step by step, they see that they are alone, they don't care about others, they think that relying on themselves is enough, and this is their way of thinking. Some people are different, and Alan is the second kind of person. Does Alan attach importance to feelings? Attention. Alan also has his own ambitions, because of this. When his own ambitions burst out completely, then everything will naturally be it's completely different, it's a completely different change. Alan is such a person. He doesn't care about so many other things, and he doesn't care about other so-called everything. It's meaningless. If that's the case, I will come and see. What will happen next? Down. What will happen, even if all the followers behind him, he can still set foot on the top. 99. Sighing lazily, Alan murmured with an interesting smile. So say it. Sometimes, it's so interesting. This is everyone's heart and different changes, if even these can't be done. That was too embarrassing. Search. Licking the corner of his mouth slightly, Alan's smile was strong. Uncle. 59. The three little guys, Abel, Quinn, and Enel, came over, smiling. Alan looked at the three little guys and scolded with a smile. What's the matter with you three little guys? Three brats. Operator. Quinn smiled and said, Uncle. There's nothing else, it's your birthday. Of course we are here to toast, and, Uncle, if you can, when you clean up your father, can we persuade Daddy that we won't be beaten? 35. Ha. Listening to Quinn's words, Alan couldn't help laughing and shaking his head. Really? You stinky brat. There's always a bunch of bad ideas, forget it. Calm down, there won't be anything. Thank you, Uncle. Quinn was quite happy, and Alan asked, Quinn, how's your technology research going? Uncle. Quinn gave a thumbs up and said confidently, of course there is no problem. I have thoroughly studied the bloodline factor of the Vinsmoke family, and there is absolutely no problem, but Uncle, we really don't want to shoot Vegapunk. Even though, as a same scientist, I don't want to admit it, but I have to admit that Vegapunk is really too scary, this person. It's just a monster among monsters, such a guy, if he can be included in our Whitebeard Pirates in the group, such an improvement. Alan shook his head and said, Quinn, I know the importance of Vegapunk, it's a pity. We don't have the time to conquer Vegapunk, it's impossible. You've been in contact with the whole person, you should be very clear that this how special a person is, and more importantly, you should know what this person's situation is. Listening to the uncle's words, Quinn nodded seriously and said, Indeed. Vegapunk's situation is very special, even to say. I don't know if the Vegapunk I saw is the real Vegapunk, this is the most terrifying things. That's right. Alan nodded and said. This is the most fundamental reason, no one knows whether Vegapunk is the real Vegapunk. Moreover, Vegapunk is related to the world government, there is no need, the benefits that Vegapunk can bring to our Whitebeard Pirates will not much. Alan is really full of randomness, and some people take Vegapunk very seriously. But to put it bluntly, I really don't pay attention to Vegapunk. It is undeniable that Vegapunk is an extremely terrible scientist. But, is this scientist really terrifying? Not at all. Even for him, it means nothing at all. This is not a joke, but a real fact. The owner of the template one by one, and with the change of the template, everything that comes next will be different, and the entire Whitebeard Pirates will be greatly improved, there is absolutely no doubt about it. Because of this, if it's not necessary to change it through Vegapunk because of this. Not to mention, as long as Alan's research is successful, then, next, the entire Whitebeard Pirates will truly undergo earth-shaking changes, and Vegapunk is really meaningless. Quinn nodded, while Enel grinned and said, Uncle, if that's the case, then I'll go and bombard them directly. Since we don't want it. Then what we don't want, we can't let others. The way of man. There was a terrifying light in his eyes, Enel was full of endless killing intent, this stinky boy was just like that, he was very terrifying and terrifying. That's Enel's character. It's always been that way. Can't get it. No. Since it is something that Laozi is not interested in, or that it is not so useful to Laozi, it is better to destroy it directly. Enel joined the Whitebeard Pirates when he was very young, but even so. He still developed Enel's crazy character. Externally and internally, he is like two people. Internally, he is funny, while externally, Enel is a crazy hideous monster. Actually, many people in the entire Whitebeard Pirates are like this. In the past 10 years, many little ghosts have made their names on the sea, and behind such prestige, many things are beyond doubt. In the end, what is the result of everyone? In other words, everyone needs no words inside and outside. Alan pondered a little. This matter, it doesn't matter, don't worry too much about these things, we don't need to fear anyone on this sea. Do we Whitebeard Pirates still need to fear these things? Operator. The three little guys were all smiling, and Abel seemed to have remembered something, but said, Uncle. There have been people who resisted again in Wano Kuni recently, and what's wrong? Alan asked about Abel's situation. Abel shook his head and said, Uncle. It's very strange, these people have very terrifying strength, their strength is very strong, although we found out very quickly, and suppressed them in the shortest time, but their appearance is very strange, the strength of these samurai is too strong, should not be born in such Wano Kuni. Oh, Alan became interested and said interestingly, it looks like it. There is a warrior power that we don't know about in Wano Kuni, which is very interesting. Can such a thing appear in Wano Kuni? 35. Abel nodded seriously and said, Uncle. This matter still needs to be dealt with, otherwise, I think it will still be very troublesome. Good. 99. I also want to see, who is the undead behind Wano Kuni? The undead of the Kazuki family. This, I think it's very interesting. 35. A funny smile appeared, Alan knew very well. Wano Kuni's situation is very special, Wano Kuni has the ability of the time fruit of Kazuki, in other words. In Wano Kuni, the problem of time is not any strange thing. Therefore, Alan finds it very interesting. It seems that in the past 2 years of studying hockey, a lot of interesting things have happened. Alan smiled interestingly. Interesting. I'm more and more interested now, you say. Who is the samurai behind this? The undead of the Kazuki clan. Listening to the uncle's words, the three were slightly hesitant, and they were not particularly clear about this. And Abel is thinking about this. Uncle. The possibility is actually quite high, after all. The situation of Wano Kuni, although after so many years of research, I found that Wano Kuni is really too special, the more in-depth research this country, the more you can find it, the country seems to have many problems and changes. 5. Ha. Quote. Alan laughed loudly, and said interestingly, yes. Then, let me see it. What will the next result be? Or, what is the result of Wano Kuni as a whole? Search. Licking the corner of his mouth slightly, Alan said savagely, 10 years. Through Wano Kuni, we are making almost the same amount of money. If there are really dead souls of the Kazuki clan, then let the whole Wano Kuni be destroyed. I think so. Let's see, can this destroyed Wano-kuni support so many undead? There is only endless horror in his eyes. Alan, this monster, has no mercy, or is joking. Do not. Alan really didn't say a joke. Samurai of Wano-kuni. The undead of the Kazuki clan. Sure. Then let Laozi come and see what is hidden in the depths of Wano-kuni. And what will be the final result, just right. Laozi will not be merciful. And Laozi just wants to know, the result how will it be? Quote. Alan squinted his eyes and said secretly, or, another Wano-kuni. Really interesting. Interesting. Ha ha ha. Alan laughed loudly. For this world, the more you speculate, the more interesting it becomes. It's really too interesting. Or rather, the whole world is so fun. Abel looked at the uncle so seriously and nodded and said, Uncle. You believe it is the best, otherwise. Kurozumi, the idiot, said something, and this is nothing. That idiot. Alan shook his head casually and said, it doesn't matter, that idiot let him continue to be arrogant. Wait until Wano-kuni's situation is almost investigated. Kurozumi is useless, 10 years. This guy is almost there. After all, these 10 years are enough for him to enjoy. Alan is full of calm, and according to the original deal, he has let Kurozumi enjoy 10 years, and frantically destroys the whole Wano-kuni, which is almost the same, of course. If there are no problems. To be honest, Alan is really not interested in what Kurozumi is doing. Actually, you are not interested in it. If you want to continue to enjoy it, just continue to enjoy it. This has something to do with Laozi. But, obviously, it is more and more interesting now. That being the case, if war breaks out, Laozi will not guarantee your enjoyment. What? Quote. Quinn waved his hand casually and said, Uncle. Could it be the power that was left behind? Isn't it Wano-kuni's other problem? Alan shook his head and said, Quinn, you and Abel manage the entire Wano-kuni. You should be very clear. Wano-kuni's situation is very special. There are many mysterious places, and that's why. In the whole Wano-kuni, as long as you understand a little, you should understand what the hell is going on here. Listening to the uncle's words, Quinn also nodded and said, Uncle, I also know, but I always feel that this statement is very strange, it is not scientific. Seriously, Quinn thinks this is unscientific. After all, Quinn is a scientist, and as a scientist, although he is not a qualified scientist, he has a little bit of deviation, but Quinn is also very serious. As a scientist, he is very serious about these are also very serious, always feel that there is a problem somewhere, because of this. Quinn thinks it is unscientific. But, this is also a normal thing. Alan didn't scold Quinn, but laughed funny, and let Quinn think about it for himself. Ha ha ha. Alan laughed loudly. Quinn. Do you think it's a strange thing? Come on, what is the most terrifying devil fruit in the world? Alan looked at Quinn with interest, but wanted to see what kind of statement Quinn would give. After all, above this sea, different people have different tastes for different top devil fruits. P.S. 5,000 word chapter. Daily 6 updates. 4th update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect. Chapter 203. Alan. These little devils. The scariest devil fruit. You can also think of the top devil fruit. Well, Alan looked at Quinn who was thinking, leaned on the sofa, and said interestingly, Quinn, tell me, what do you think is the top devil fruit, and what is the most terrifying above this sea? Of this. Quinn fell into his thoughts and said undeniably. There are indeed many sayings about the top devil fruit, and there are different opinions in different people's hearts, which is absolutely beyond doubt. Do not doubt. There are too many devil fruits on the sea, and, as long as you think carefully, you will find that there are actually very big problems in it. You may think that there is nothing in it, but if you think about it carefully, I found that there is a very big problem in it, and it is even said. It makes people feel weird. Devil fruit is a treasure called the secret treasure of the sea. But, if you study carefully, you will find that there are too many devil fruits like this. It seems that there are endless devil fruits, even if there are tens of thousands, even 100,000 people have demon fruit power, but devil fruit still exists, and there are still many. This is a very strange thing, it makes people feel endless differences. What is devil fruit? And what is hidden in devil fruit? This is the most strange thing, isn't it? So, Quinn was also thinking about what the top devil fruit was. After a while, Quinn pondered, Uncle. The top devil fruit should be shock fruit, lion fruit, duplicate fruit, retrograde fruit, ghost fruit, lucky fruit, childlike fruit, these top devil fruits, right? Lion fruit, shock fruit, all have amazing destructive power. 55. The ghost fruit, the lucky fruit, and the fun fruit are all devil fruits that look like bugs. The replica fruit and the childlike fruit are both very special devil fruits, and they can indeed be called top-level devil fruits. While thinking about it, Abel also gave his own answer, while Alan smiled and shook his head. Instead of continuing to say anything, he smiled and shook his fingers and continued. Quinn, continue. Quinn nodded and said, Okay, Uncle. In addition, the top devil fruits should also include Zone's blue dragon fruit, Logia's thunder fruit, dark fruit and these top devil fruits. Enel also agreed. Zone and Logia are the top devil fruits, and above the uncle and the sea, all the devil fruits we know are the top devil fruits, right? 35. Indeed. Alan nodded, lit a cigarette, and said, you guys are right, this is indeed a top-level devil fruit, and above this ocean, it is also an extremely powerful devil fruit, just. You guys. Think about it a bit. The three little guys were all very dazed, and Alan continued, this is what you can see, touch, you can say. This is the devil fruit in front of us, no matter what, such a devil fruit it's all here, if that's the case, you all know the power of this devil fruit, but. There are two devil fruits, which are not particularly powerful in themselves, but they make people feel very headache and difficult to handle. The fruit of time. How smart is Abel? He guessed it immediately, and said with serious eyes, Uncle, are you talking about the fruit of time? The legendary top devil fruit. According to records, the fruit of time can be said to be a very special devil fruit. The power of this devil fruit can make people travel to the future, and it can transport many people to the future. Could it be that? Abel immediately reflected it. If he said that all the people he met were people who had traveled from the past to the present, then it would be understandable. Is this the particularity of Wano Kuni? Just appeared. Alan nodded and said, yes. Time fruit is a very special devil fruit. The last time this devil fruit appeared was 800 years ago. Because of this devil fruit is extremely special. No matter who it is, it must be admitted that the existence of this devil fruit is too special. 55. Travel through time. Across time. For anyone, this is something that must be admitted, and this is the most terrifying power of the fruit of time. No matter what time it is, it must be admitted. 35. Listening to Alan's words, Abel nodded earnestly. It is true, the power of this devil fruit is too special, and if this is the case, then the power of the time fruit can indeed bring Wano Kuni very huge impact. And, Alan raised a finger and continued, it's not just that. If you think about it, then you will understand that the power of the fruit of time is just that. Do not. In the Devil Fruit Illustrated book, a devil fruit that is as special as the fruit of time was recorded, and its name is, Fruit of the Past. Fruit of the Past. 35. Hearing this, the three little guys were stunned. Alan continued. Yes, past fruit seems to be a very strange name. Actually, this name is not strange, or the devil fruit with this name is exactly the same as time fruit. 55. Woo. Breathing out a puff of smoke, Alan said very calmly, actually. To put it another way, the fruit of time and the fruit of the past, the two devil fruits, should be said to be the same devil fruit, two devil fruits that complement each other. Fruit should actually be more appropriately called 1.99. The fruit of time travels from the present to the future, and this is absolutely irreversible. The fruit of the past travels from the present to the past, and this is absolutely irreversible. Do you understand now? So it is. 9. Listening to the uncle's explanation, the three little guys immediately understood, and Enel said with sharp eyes, Uncle, according to what you said, does it mean that the Wano Kuni people actually have a very special identity? Alan waved his hand and said, it's hard to say, but if there is no accident, there is a high probability that it is someone from the past or the future, but it doesn't matter. I don't care. I want to see more. Who is the opponent? Who is it suitable for slaughtering? Ha ha ha. He. Listening to the uncle's loud laughter, the three brothers also chuckled and shook their heads. Sure enough. This is indeed the character of the uncle. Don't tell me who the opponent is, what you should tell me is, how strong the opponent is, I will accept it. How to slaughter it down, this is the most interesting thing. Search. Licking the corners of his mouth slightly, Alan's smile was unusually strong, and it was full of endless hideousness. The terrifying killing intent can be said to be full of endless terror, and he said cruelly, of course. Wano Kuni has always been a person who gives people it's a very interesting place, and in such a place, no one knows what will happen next, which is also very interesting. Okay. Knowing this, you three brats, hurry up and get out, Abel, Quinn, and pay attention to Wano Kuni's situation. 39. Uncle, don't worry, isn't this a small problem? The three brothers are called self-confidence, joking, this is a small thing. A small thing. What a big thing. They will definitely handle all this well, and Alan also nodded, looking at the three little guys who left, squinting. He narrowed his eyes and said, if we look at the current situation, there will be no accident. Someone will indeed come. Big brother. Newgate strode over, sat down directly, rubbed his chin and said, are you sure what you said is correct? Obviously. Newgate also heard the conversation between the eldest brother and the third brother and the little guy. Alan shook his head and said, the specific situation, this. I can't be sure, but the two devil fruits do exist, and if it's really according to what I said, the two devil fruits ability must also exist. 99. Listening to the elder brother's words, Newgate also thought seriously, if this is the case, then the particularity of Wano Kuni is probably very interesting. 99. Alan said casually, it doesn't matter. No matter what the situation is, it's just some opponents. I'm also very interested in killing these opponents. After all, In Wano Kuni's history on top of that, there will still be a few interesting powerhouses born. And, Alan squinted his eyes interestingly, after all. Time and history. Parallel universes. Are these really intertwined? If so, can I see my future self? If not, then I can see to the end who is it. He. Alan's smile was very strong, and he said interestingly, it's really getting more and more interesting. It really makes people look forward to it. What's going to happen in Wano Kuni next, but it's interesting. A smile appeared, but Alan really thought it was very interesting, after all. What will happen to Wano Kuni next? This is the most interesting thing, isn't it? Goo la la la. Newgate laughed and said, yeah, it's pointless to think so much. I still prefer to face the opponent and kill the opponent directly. Newgate is full of fighting spirit, his eyes are full of hockey's full look, and it is full of endless pride. Obviously. For Newgate, so many years, obviously many different changes have taken place. Old Newgate. Or, in the original novel, Newgate only pays attention to his family, and his own ambitions are not very big. For Newgate, it doesn't matter what the world is like. No matter what, he is the same. I don't care, it's just. Because my own strength is too strong, it has become so strong that it eventually triggered the outbreak of the Summit War, and now what? Newgate doesn't care about this at all, or even says it. Newgate is very serious, and he is very firm in his beliefs. Everything else is indifferent, and Newgate doesn't care at all, he has firmness. In the heart, with a firm belief, this is the change of Newgate now. Family. Ambition. These Newgates all exist. Newgate still attaches great importance to his family, but the same. Newgate now also has his own ambitions. Newgate wants to follow the big brother, see this what is the apex of the world. Maybe it is very strange to say, but Newgate has such an ambition, and he also wants to see the apex of the world. He also wanted to see how everything in this world was like. This is Newgate's idea, all the time. Newgate is in accordance with his own ambitions to go step by step. Quote. Worororo. Kaido walked step by step, and laughed boldly, big brother. Second brother. You guys are meaningless like this. It's just a bunch of rubbish, no matter what kind of opponent, it's just rubbish. One stick, kill them directly, do you need to keep an eye on them? 39. Alan smiled and said, well, you don't need to be nervous, but everything that follows is very interesting. A smile appeared. Alan was also waiting quietly, of course. The time fruit and the past fruit are all limited. In other words, if you are a traveler, then yourself will disappear. Gone. At this point, absolutely the most important thing, you have to understand that this is a fundamentally important change, this. It's not a joke, it's a real fact. When you travel as a traveler, then you come to the future time, but same. The next time is without you. In the original book, Jinamon and others traveled like this, they disappeared without a trace, everyone did. They disappeared directly, disappeared for a full 20 years, and when they reappeared, it was true for others it's been 20 years, and for them it's still the same. This. Promise good. This is the most fundamental reason, and the most important reason. It can be said without joking that this is the root of time travel. It allows you to time travel to the future, not that you have a certain timeline. Say so. At the age of 18, you have traveled to 30 years later, no matter after 30 years, whether you should have been alive or not, you will always travel through. And between the age of 19 and the age of 47, you will disappear without a trace, as if you are dead, in other words. There is only one person who can cross, not to say, can cross the time line without limit. And this ability is a very interesting thing. Woo. With a puff of smoke, Alan said interestingly, it's really interesting. Interesting. The situation in Wano Kuni is indeed very interesting, and I'm also very interested in it. I just want to take a good look at what's going on next. What? 35. 99. A grim smile appeared interestingly. Alan's smile became more intense, and at this time, one after another, the little guys came over, all with happy smiles, all came to celebrate the birthday of the uncle of. Those bastards. Really are. Alan doesn't think about these things anymore. It's better to wait until the future to think about these things. This is his birthday, and it's also when these little guys are very happy. Because of this, if he thinks so much, for these little guys it's not a good thing either. Since this is a day when everyone is happy, then let everyone be happy like this. If you think too much about so many things, it will be meaningless. Alan sat on the sofa with a funny smile, and as the party continued, everyone was very happy. P.S. 5,000-word chapter. Daily 6 updates. 5th update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect. Chapter 204. 10 ships. 10 people. 10 pirates. Drink. Ha ha ha. 39. One by one, the little guys drank and fainted directly, and because of this, each of them fell into a very strange state, and watching these fainted little guys, Alan shook his head with a smile, and in the end, the rest of the banquet was only Alan, Newgate, and Kaido brothers. Gudong. Gudong. The 3 brothers drank heavily, and everyone's expressions were calm enough, and their expressions were filled with endless indifference. What? Kaido drank all the wine in the glass, squinted his eyes comfortably, and said happily, it's really comfortable. Sure enough, drinking at such a grand banquet is the most enjoyable thing. What? Goo la la la. Newgate also laughed arrogantly. Yeah. It's fun. It's still the most enjoyable. I also have to admit that only the wine you drink at such a banquet is the most enjoyable thing. Humph. Looking at the laughing second and third, Alan said casually, you two brats. However, it is indeed the case. As pirates, we are the best at the banquet. Fun thing. Goo la la la. Worororo. The three brothers were all laughing, and Newgate said casually, brother. What do you think the next result will be? What will this sea be like? How is everything? Alan said casually. It doesn't matter. No matter what it is, Wano Kuni or other places, no matter what happens, it doesn't matter. Laozi doesn't particularly care, nor does he care too much. After all, it's all fighting and fighting. As long as the opponent is beheaded, then the result is already doomed. What? The three brothers are all grinning. Yes, just like what the eldest brother said, on this sea, it has always been like this. You don't need to think about so many things, because you don't need to think about whether your opponent is it's not very vicious and vicious, because on this sea, as long as you are vicious and vicious than the other party, it is enough. This is the most important fundamental core. Kaido said casually. But, big brother, what do you think about the Wano Kuni problem, the two brats, Abel and Quinn? Alan shrugged and said, what's your opinion? Look at it with your eyes. Obviously, you don't need to think about it. 933 knows it. It's just a problem, if that's the case. Then we'll just wait. Anyway, someone will wait. If we can't go on, we'll just know what the outcome is when the time comes. 35. Listening to the elder brother's words, the brothers all nodded. That's true, after all. It's not my brothers who are worried, but my brothers are here, so they all have a lot of wealth to be credited every day. Let's talk about it. Wano Kuni is just such a place to make money every day. If so, why do you think about it so much? Cut. It's just a meaningless thing, to put it bluntly. You don't need to care about it at all. If that's the case, then it's just a small problem. It's not a big deal anyway. Drink wine. Drink. 55. This kind of banquet, discussing these things, is too boring. That's right. Drink wine. The brothers were drinking heavily, and as time passed, the three brothers gradually became drunk. The grand banquet came to an end. The banquet. It is a very special banquet for the entire Whitebeard Pirates. What this banquet represents is actually beyond doubt. For all the cubs, they used this banquet to prove their respect for their uncle. For Alan, this was a very special banquet. The three gifts he received were actually the most important ones. Important gift. Captain's coat. Captain knife. Fire gun. What do these three gifts represent? In fact, as long as every pirate is very clear, what is this? Do I need to say more? In fact, there is no doubt about it. Woo. With a puff of smoke, Alan looked very calm. When he walked out of the room, he walked towards the shipyard step by step. That's right. There is a shipyard on the Moby Dick. This is really not a big problem, after all. The Moby Dick is so huge, no matter what is on the Moby Dick, it seems to be a matter of course. Father. Hiyori ran over, happily held his father's hand, and said, Father. I'm going with you too. It is good. Alan led Rehei towards the shipyard, and all the little ghosts were walking on the road. Everyone greeted their uncles with a smile, and they all knew very well that today, AGFJ, is what kind of day. This is the day when the 10 pirate ships go to sea and 10 of them form their own pirate group. Soon, Alan brought Sunhee to the shipyard, and here, 10 ships are ready side by side. Well, it is worth mentioning that the shipyard is actually located at the bottom of the Moby Dick. This position has a large number of ships. The sea is also the best place to dock the pirate ship. Uncle. 39. Alan nodded, looked at the little guys in front of him, and said casually, you stinky brats, are you almost ready? He. That Muir scratched his head and said naively, Uncle. We are ready. After so many years, we are finally going to sea. Yes. 35. Everyone is smiling, and everyone is very happy. They have worked hard for 10 years and finally reached this point. They are more of a belief in going to sea, a kind of in front of their parents, they can prove their beliefs. If they can do it, they will also prove their efforts, but if they can't do it, they also know that it is their own weakness. Cut. Alan curled his lips and said, a bunch of stinky brats. Forget it, I'm too lazy to say anything, so take it seriously. After you go out to sea, you represent the face of our Whitebeard Pirates, and it also represents your own ambitions. If you can't even realize your own ambitions, then come back honestly, and you will be ashamed to the Whitebeard Pirates. Ha. Alan laughed loudly and said, come back and find Laozi. I don't need you stinky bastards to earn Laozi's face. Did you hear it? Oh who, Uncle. 39. We know. Every kid made a deafening roar. One by one was very excited roaring. They were all roaring deafeningly, full of proud excitement. While watching them, listening to their roars, the corner of Alan's mouth evoked a smile. It is undeniable to say. For so many years, Alan has also been fond of these little devils. If he did such a thing, if he were the former self, he would never do it, but it doesn't matter. The current self, it's different. I'm not the same as before. This is a kind of change. Stinky bastards. 99. Alan smiled and scolded, and the 10 pirate ships were all ready. Wow, wow. The sea water impacted 10 pirate ships, and the largest and most eye-catching one was a pirate ship with a steel wall. The huge steel bow is like an iron wall. Icebreaker. This ship is the pirate ship of Whitebeard. The Whitebeard, known as the Witch of Ice, formed her own witch pirates. And this ship is her icebreaker. It was built according to Wilby's ideas. Has a strong impact. He. Epweda looked at her pirate ship and was also very happy. This is a pirate ship that looks like a caterpillar as a whole, and the position of the bow makes people feel terrible when looking at it. The head of the devil worm, just looking at it makes people feel terrified. Devil's Worm. Devil Worm Pirates. This is the pirate group formed by Epweda, and it is also the name he gave to his pirate ship. It all looks good. Alan continued to observe other pirate ships. The pirate ships of Muir, Elawang, and Karma were more consistent in style, and they all looked basically normal pirate ships, but the bows are 3 different bows: shark, octopus, and walrus. Evil Shark Pirates, Walrus Pirates, Octopus Pirates. This is the pirate group of 3 people. This is the pirate ship of Muir, Elawang, and Karma. Looking at their pirate ship, all 3 of them showed happy smiles, that kind of joy. There is absolutely no doubt about it. The smiling face makes people smile, and the joy of the 3 of them can be seen with the naked eye. He. Alan is also smiling, except for the 5 pirate ships, and the rest have their own characteristics. Big Vortex Spider Skewered. The overall look of Squad's pirate ship is like a huge spider. It looks very special, and the position of the bow is a huge spider. Very scary. And that's the Skewered Spider. Gyuki Atmos. Gyuki Pirates. Atmos pirate ship looks similar to Squad, basically. Except for the octopus tentacles on the outside, the overall look is that the bow of the ship is a bull's head, which is almost the same as the Squad Spider. No, it's almost there. Not bad. Alan nodded and smiled interestingly. You little pirate ships look very good. 99. He tilde operator. All the little ghosts wiped their noses with a smile, and felt very happy. These pirate ships were designed by them, and everyone participated in it. For them, the sea of this search. A pirate ship is like a child who finally bought his own house after trying to grow up. Of course, they are very happy, and for them, every pirate ship is the most important. Alan nodded and set his eyes on the last 3 pirate ships. The first one was Andre's pirate ship. From the outside, Andre's bow was an open-mouthed roar like a berserker. The image, other than that, is pretty ordinary. The second one is Doma's pirate ship. Doma's pirate ship is a monkey's bow. It is really a very ordinary pirate ship. And the third is Fosa's pirate ship. Fosa's pirate ship. The pirate ship is red as a whole, and the bow of the ship is actually a fire dragon with a cigar, a picture of Laozi being crazy. Fosa. Alan said interestingly. You pirate ship really sucks. 39. Ha. Fosa held a cigar and laughed loudly. Uncle. Above this sea is to be arrogant. To be arrogant within one's own strength is to let everyone see his strength. If he is arrogant, he will not dare if so. What's the point of living then? Stinky boy. Alan smiled interestingly. This stinky boy said it was quite interesting. Shaking his head with a chuckle, Alan didn't continue to say anything. All in all, these are 10 ships, in fact. Since they wanted to participate in the challenge, their pirate ship has already begun to prepare. As long as they are not lazy, then the pirate ship that belongs to them will belong to them sooner or later, and they will grow up. If these 10 little guys are lazy to fish every day, then I'm sorry. There is no way. Alan will destroy the pirate ships without hesitation, and it turns out. The pirate ships also waited for the arrival of their owners. Well, Alan also rubbed his chin and said, accidentally, our Whitebeard Pirates have 12 affiliated pirates. You stinky brats, won't you just go out, or just throw them home? 35. He. Everyone is smiling happily. Everyone is very happy. Of course they have already made all the preparations. But, in fact, everyone didn't calculate one person. That's Makugui, of course. Makugui also passed his own test, but his pirate ship hasn't been built yet. This is not a strange thing. For the Whitebeard Pirates, this is a pirate ship built by the little devils of their own family. If this is the case, of course, it is impossible to relax our vigilance. Because of this, each of their pirate ships is very serious, and Makuge's pirate ship is about to be built, and 11 of them will be ready to sail together, and Alan calculates these 12 people actually didn't count Makuge, waiting for Makuge's pirate ship to be built, he will be counted. Evil Shark Pirates. The Walrus Pirates. Octopus Pirates. 66 feet The Witch Pirates. 55. Devil Worm Pirates. Bloodthirsty Pirates. Night Pirates. The Squad Pirates. The Gyuki Pirates. Flame Pirates. 995. He. Alan smiled interestingly. You little brats are very good. Not bad. I am very satisfied with the arrogance of your little brats, so take it seriously. Remember, since you have gone out, but don't lose your prestige, otherwise. I think it's a very shameful thing. Oh hoo. Everyone was roaring loudly, and they were ready for everything, with sharp and crazy light flashing in their eyes, while Alan smiled and nodded. For the efforts of these little devils, he has always been it's all in their eyes. Since they've made preparations, it's impossible for them not to trust them as their uncle. A group of hardworking little devils should naturally be trusted. And each of them has worked hard for all this. 10 ships, 10 people, 10 pirates. P.S. I'm sorry. Today's last one is a bit late. I can only say that for some reasons, I know everything I know about going out and queuing. I'm all convinced. P.S. 5,000 word chapter. Daily 6 updates. 6th update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect. Chapter 205. Ghost Core. The idea of people transforming Ghost Core. 10 ships, 10 people, 10 pirates. This matter, for the time being, seems to have come to an end. In fact, this matter is just the beginning. They have not gone to sea for the time being, but have to wait for a while, wait for the construction of the pirate ship of Makugai, and wait until Makugai's pirate ship is ready to leave. Standing in the training ground of the castle, Alan narrowed his eyes slightly, as if he was thinking about something. 35. In the end, he let out a sigh of relief, and Alan couldn't help thinking about what happened just now. Cough cough cough. Neil's appearance is very old, he coughed slightly, his body is very good, and he is very tough. However, after all, he is already so old, although he said that there is no problem with his health, but still that sentence, yes, a word is called death without a disease, and when your body's life reaches its limit, even if you don't have any injuries, you will still die like this. Big brother. Neil looked at Alan with a smile, coughed slightly, and said, Big brother. It's really a shame. I look like it's almost the same. With a helpless sigh, Neil is not dissatisfied, or in other words, he is really very calm. For other people, he may not be willing to face death, but for Neil, he has been in his life. Enough. In fact, it is no exaggeration to call Neil a legend in his life. When he was young, Neil was a bad gambler. He was almost waiting to die. He met his eldest brother and second brother, and followed him. Brother has gone through this magnificent life, he has a beautiful wife, and he also has a very good son. Now, the son of Tezzolo is also growing up brilliantly. Under his own guidance, he has gradually taken over all of this. Not only that, this stinky boy in his own family is growing at a speed visible to the naked eye, and this is the most important thing. He. Neil shook his head and said, Brother. I'm sorry, I'm really getting old. At this age, I always like to think wildly. 6,699. Looking at Neil, Alan seems to have a feeling that someone knows destiny, obviously. Neil has reached this age, Neil is now in his 60s, and Neil has no strength. He is an ordinary old man, even if he is free from disease and disaster, he will live a few more years, or 10 years at most. It can be said that Neil has really reached such a level. Snapped. Alan walked to Neil's side step by step, patted Neil on the shoulder, and didn't say a word from beginning to end, but his movements were filled with a heavy feeling, as if he really wanted to do something, don't want to say it. Just passing by like this, Alan left directly with a very calm expression, his eyes filled with endless indifference and indifference. No one knew what Alan wanted to do, and Neil looked at him. The eldest brother who left his house also shook his head silently. He actually knows his eldest brother very well. His eldest brother is a very tyrannical person. In fact, he is not such a person at all. The eldest brother attaches great importance to feelings, and he also attaches great importance to himself. Therefore, Neil knows that Big Brother will find a way to keep him alive, but if Neil can, he really wants to tell his big brother, there is no need. Big brother, this is really the end. I don't need this thing. Just but Neil couldn't speak, he knew that the big brother had such a heart. But if he said it himself, wouldn't it be his big brother who would be hurt? It is undeniable to say. Neil is not a good thing. He was a gambling guy when he was young, but because of this, Neil is a more determined person. He cherishes this hard-won friendship, the eldest brother, the second brother, the third brother, and this group of little guys, they are really taking themselves very seriously, and because of this, if they still do such a thing, then they will not forgive themselves. Looking at the back of Big Brother leaving, Neil silently let out a sigh and murmured, Big Brother. I believe you will succeed. Not just for me to live, but also for, I believe in Big Brother. 35. Neil is full of determination. Of course he doesn't want to die, he wants to continue to live, he wants to continue to help the 3 older brothers to manage it all. That's what Neil thinks, he wants to continue to do things like this. Just Neil doesn't know if he can survive successfully, but if there is a shred of hope, Neil wants to live, and he wants to grasp this idea. This is Neil's heart, and no one really wants to die. Neil is naturally the same, because of this. Neil is also full of firmness, he believes that he will never die. He has a firm heart. Woo. He let out a deep breath, and Neil's expression was very serious, even with endless solemnity, he believed in Big Brother. 66.99. Alan remained silent. He initially planned to wait and continue his research, but now it seems that he can't delay it. Although this is just a plan, it is still uncertain whether it will succeed or not, but if it succeeds, then it is the best thing to do. Not to mention, if you don't start, then there will never be a possibility of success. In all things, if you dare not even take the first step, then you expect success. It's just like a joke. Woo. Taking a deep breath, Alan opened one hand. Moment. Terrifying pitch-black shadows spread out from all directions, and strange figures emerged one by one. It was the ghost group. They were like ninjas, and they emerged, followed by a respectful single. On his knees, full of endless loyalty to Alan. Alan nodded indifferently, and then said coldly, "Go to Wanokuni and bring me back 10 efforts." 9. There are no words, but everything disappears in an instant, this moment. Everything disappears, and with the disappearance of this moment, naturally, everything is different. Alan sat down, thinking about something in his heart, and more about the next research. Alan's idea is actually very simple. The shadow core itself has its own life. In other words, it can expand without restrictions, just like in the original book, Xiaoyu became the queen of the shadow core, obviously. Maybe it will become extreme, or something, but it can definitely be done, making people a part of the shadow core. If that's the case, what if you do it intentionally? Transforming the opponent into a member of the Sombra core, so that the other party can keep his senses, is to make the opponent have the immortality and immortality of the Sombra core, maybe you say. This way the result is that the whole person will become different. But, if it can be successful, do the benefits need to be said more? There is no need at all. The entire Whitebeard Pirates, everyone will undergo earth-shaking changes, and this is the most important thing. What? Seriously, no one really thinks the Sombra core is weak, right? On the contrary, the power of the Sombra core is based on the summoner, is the most terrifying. So why is the power of the Holy Master, as a demon, so weak? The reason is very simple. The Holy Master only summoned it with the help of Niga's mask, to put it bluntly. It's just that his magic power was used as a guide to summon some tool people. In whose hands the shadow core summoned is the most powerful? Xiaoyu. That's right, it's Xiaoyu. Don't underestimate Xiaoyu. This is like a child of luck, a saint, an invincible existence. She is not summoned through the mask of Niga the Sombra core, on the contrary. Xiaoyu relied on her own terrifying heart that fell into darkness, and even said. Sombra Kingdom even directly recognized Xiaoyu's identity as a queen. What kind of concept is this? In fact, as long as you are not an idiot, it is already understood. Even if Terra saw Xiaoyu, she would say, the former queen of the Shadow Kingdom. This proves that when Xiaoyu was blackened, Terra had already been taken away from the king's position. The queen of the Shadow Kingdom was Xiaoyu, and what is the strength of the Black Shadow Core summoned by Xiaoyu? No, without thinking. The Black Shadow Core summoned by Xiaoyu is simply outrageously powerful. In the past, Uncle Long could swept away by himself, but what about the one summoned by Xiaoyu? One person can press Uncle Long on the ground and rub it. This is the difference in strength. Looking at the fact that True has become a member of the Sombra Kingdom, he is purely a controlled little brother, so I say. The strength of the Sombra Core is different. If the strength of the King of the Black Shadow Core is terrifying enough, then the strength he exerts is a geometric increase, and the increase in strength is simply more terrifying than the monster. This is something you must admit. Woo. Alan let out a sigh of relief and murmured, let's see now. Everything should be almost the same here. Let's continue to study and see. If it is successful, it will naturally be the best thing. Soon, as the shadows emerged again, and 10 slaves had emerged from the shadows, Alan quietly looked at the 10 slaves in front of him. Seriously, whether he can succeed, he is not very clear, though. Try it and you'll know. Even if it fails, it doesn't matter, you can try it step by step. 0. For flowers. Go on. 99. Following Alan's order, strands of terrifying black shadows spread out from the ground and gradually poured into the body of a slave in front of him. His body gradually began to twist, and slowly, it became dark purple, and a terrifying wailing sound was emitted. King. King. He knelt down hideously on one knee. Although he was still sensible, Alan knew that he had failed. Although he was still sensible, it was obvious that there was something wrong with him. Has been completely changed. With a wave of Alan's hand, the slave immediately dissipated. Alan narrowed his eyes and said, there is no problem with my plan, just. If it is to be completely successful, it will take a lot of problems to deal with. First of all, it is best not to change the appearance, or to change it slightly, and in terms of personality. Don't change. This is so hard to deal with. Alan is thinking about how to do this, just thinking about it. He is a little bit confused, is there really such a method? This is really quite a headache. At this point, it's not that Alan is joking, it's really a headache. Next. Alan began to continue the experiment. Since he said that he has an idea, then continue to experiment and see. The control of the magic energy. The control of the power. The control of the shadow. In a word, it is the most important to conduct experiments from all aspects of Shadow Kingdom. Now, it is undeniable that Alan is the only king. Although it is said that his master is only 1/5 of the power of a ghost mask, but even so, he is also the supreme king of the Shadow Kingdom. With the passage of time, he will become the master of all the Shadow Kingdoms, and because of this, there will be no betrayal. This is something Alan has absolute certainty about, and as time goes by, this matter is gradually being dealt with. Next, what will be the result of the experiment? Father. 35. Gion and Hiyori are both very at a loss. The birthday party has just ended, why did his father start to retreat again, and this retreat is not a joke, but a real retreat, and no one is allowed to come at all. To disturb, even my 2 daughters are not allowed to disturb. Rahe said softly. Sister, after my father chatted with Uncle Neil, that's it, could it be? Gion also shook his head and said, Hiwa, this is actually normal. Uncle Neil has been treated as a real younger brother by his father for so many years, of course he doesn't want Uncle Neil to die, and Uncle Neil's death is just a matter of at the beginning. With the death of Uncle Neil, some people will also die slowly. Whitebeard Pirates. There are a lot of old people. These old people, their lives are gradually reaching the limit. They are the crew members who once followed Alan, the cooks of the Newgate brothers, the navigators and so on. They may not have great strength, but they were followers of the Edward brothers and others all their lives. Therefore, Gion knew that according to his father's character, he didn't want them to die at all, and Gion also knew that. His father hoped that they could live forever, but the power that his father gave to people was impossible to give. More people. Therefore, everything at this moment is like this. My own father is studying these. Gion also nodded and said, yes. Father is also dealing with other things. Hiyori, let's not disturb father, we believe that father will succeed, right? Of course. Hiyori nodded seriously and said, sister, this is a matter of course. Father will never fail. Although Xiaohihei doesn't know what his father is studying, but this will definitely not delay Xiaohihei's trust in his father. In Xiaorihei's impression, his father will never fail. This is Xiaori in confidence and heart. He. Looking at Hiyori's appearance, Gion also gently hugged Hiyori, and the 2 sisters were also preparing to leave, so they shouldn't disturb their father here. Edward Allen. This man will never fail in anything in his life. As long as he wants to do it, he will definitely succeed. For Gion, Hiyori and the sisters. No, for everyone in the entire Whitebeard Pirates. For example, they all think like this. They all believe that their elder brother, father, and father will never fail. No matter at any time, it is impossible to fail. P.S. 5,000 word chapter. Daily 6 updates. First update. Please subscribe. Please customize. Please collect.